Men podcast. I'm your host, Alex Curry, with your co-host, Andrew Ledger. We got a special guest today, Jerry Thornton. Finally. We've been talking about this for weeks. We kept telling everybody who's going to come on, and we finally got him on. So thank you, Jerry, for joining us.
Thanks, Jerry.
I can't help it if you guys are busy people.
Yeah.
I don't have a life. You know what? I'm sitting around waiting to.
It was his fault. He was on Storm.
I was on Storm. You had some family issues going on, and
it happens.
Finally, we.
Screw you and your priorities and your perspective and knowing what's important in life. I sit around and wait for someone to say, "Come on my podcast. We'll have drinks and we'll talk about stuff." And how about a little plug for Squires of Hanover?
Yeah.
My little towny bar that I love so much, that I've done other shows and shot videos here and stuff, and they were nice enough to say, "There you go, guys. There's a corner. Just go do your thing."
Thank you to Squires. Come on, you guys got to come check it out. They got the Irish food like you wouldn't find in the whole Blackstone.
Beer. That's all that matters.
They do a hell of a pour.
You don't find Irish bars like this around.
No, we have watering holes.
Like chain places. I don't hate chain
Irish
places.
pubs they'll throw a Shamrock on a sign behind a Budweiser sign, and
We just have pubs.
they don't have any.
Put the superfluous O apostrophe before whatever the name of the owner is.
right.
You know what I mean? If it's
some Italian name.
Yeah. It's like Donatelli. It's Donatelli's. No, this place is legit, and they're super nice to me here. They let me do a book launch party that they bang the place out on a Sunday afternoon during the NFL season. So I love this place.
Speaking of your book,
hey!
I actually listened to it, and I had a trip to Buffalo for work a couple weeks ago, and we downloaded it, listened to it on the ride up, which was a 7-hour ride, and then we listened to it on the ride back, finished it up on the ride back. I mean, it was great. It talked about all the years that we don't know about our generation. I mean, we're lucky. We haven't witnessed Patriots really suck unless you were. I mean, even Bledsoe. Even when Bledsoe
my first memories were Bledsoe coming back from 24 against the Vikings,
and they're the guys that started their turnaround. You know what I mean? So we really didn't witness the bullshit that everyone else did as a Patriots fan.
Well, we haven't witnessed a lot of that stuff. We're all lucky. The Red Sox sucked for a few years, but they've been good since the late 90s.
Well, two things about it. One, yesterday, and today is April 3rd that we're doing this. Saturday, April 2nd, yesterday, I met the guy that recorded the audiobook. He's originally from Everett. He's down in New York. He professionally does voiceover work and voices video games.
That's a great job, I bet.
Oh yeah, but it's really surreal to listen to it to me, because wait, this guy is talking. He's using first-person singular pronouns about me, but it's him and his voice.
Very animated.
Oh, it's surreal.
It's like George Costanza when he gets the book on tape and it sounds like him and he hates it. You ever see that Seinfeld?
Exactly.
I can't listen to it.
So good guy. It was really great to meet him too. When I was at EEI, I did my own podcast, and I always tried to do stuff that wasn't sports. Like I'd have book authors on sometime, and anytime someone
Whoa. If you work for EEI, you have to only talk sports. That's what everyone calls in to
that's 98.5, even though they're all by the same
trust
company
me, after 4 hours of doing it every day, plus listening to
I'm
the
just
early shows.
messing. I'm just so sick of the same people calling into that morning show.
Yeah.
This is a sports station.
My thing is, when I was driving home, I would listen to comics podcasts, Gilbert Gottfried, Adam Carolla, whatever. So when I got my own, I'm like, I want to do the other things I'm interested in, like.
That's what the podcast is for, though.
I had reality TV stars. I had the Cambridge firefighter that won Survivor or whatever. And when I had a book author on, I'd always say, well, why? First question, why did you write this book? Because you have to have a reason. You don't just write it for the money because there's not a lot of money to be made or whatever. And I wrote this one because I always wanted to read it. This story needed to be told, and the universe was taking its sweet-ass time. So I said, all right, I'll do it, because I think you either live through some of it, how bad and weird and dysfunctional they were, but maybe don't know the whole story, or guys like yourself who
don't. That's
think
what I'm
the
saying.
bad times were
We
Bledsoe.
came into it right. We came into it right when it got good.
We really do. We think
Right
the
when
bad
it got
times
good.
were the Bledsoe era, and it was totally worse than that. And you painted a picture for it. It was awesome listening to it. It really was. It was
I
great.
appreciate it.
Because the Red Sox was different because they had so much history. The Patriots was different than the Red Sox.
They were the laughing stock.
They were
of
the
the
laughing stock
NFL.
of the
No,
league.
they weren't even-
Red Sox were always, every couple of years they'd go to the World Series. They had 5 or 6 World Series
at least
losses.
once a decade they went to a World
Yeah,
Series.
and they were
And
competitive.
every time they went to Game 7,
They get screwed.
against
Yeah.
a team that was the best team of that decade.
Right.
So the '67 Cardinals were the best team in
75
the
Reds,
60s.
86
70
Reds.
the big red
That's
machine.
why the Cubs piss me off, though. Is the Cubs, they should have lost last year because they've never really felt heartbreak. They had 0-3 when they choked against the Marlins or whatever.
Right.
But they've never felt the heartbreak like Red Sox fans did. We lost 3 or 4 World Series heartbreak.
Yeah, when you can sit there and have a debate over which is the worst cosmic nut punch that the Sox have ever had, and list like 5 of them without even
what's
breaking a
funny,
sweat.
though?
And your grandparents would tell you about 46 when Johnny Pesky held on to get the ball and a guy
Enos Slaughter, the mad dash,
scored
right?
from first on a double.
But no, what's funny is in 03 when they lost to the Yankees, I felt like that was my initiation.
Aaron Boone.
And that was my initiation to be a Red Sox fan, which made the next year even sweeter.
Yeah.
Sure, and that was.
It makes you a Red Sox fan.
I'm living through it again right now. I'm reading the Francona book right now, the Shank, and everything's coming back. It's like
screwed.
it was because that was really when. I mean, you were in college and I was at the.
He was
senior in
the
high
end. That
school.
was the end of the Red
And it
Sox
was like
era for
that,
me. It was
yeah,
like,
and that's really when I felt like I was part of the heartbreak.
He got screwed. He got screwed, no doubt.
Even,
And then even-
before that, I was at a family vacation. I'm sitting poolside, and I'm reading a Stephen King book called The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. And there was these 2 New Yorkers, a Mets fan and a Yankee fan, started talking to me. They couldn't believe that there was a book with goddamn Tom Gordon's name in the title. And they asked me this question. They go, "So what hurts more for you, Bill Buckner or Bucky Dent?" I'm like, "You sons of bitches!" Like, come on.
The thing about
that's
Bucky-
like, so what hurts more for you, a kick to the groin or a red hot poker
I was-
shoved right up your rectum? And
I was
I'm like,
losing 03 though.
and 03 was worse than either of those, but it hadn't even happened yet. And already we knew that was being a Red Sox fan. It was the universe is conspiring.
But it made
against you.
04 all the better.
Oh, it really
Absolutely.
did. I mean, even like I was
Positivity.
saying,
Yeah.
I was just reading in that book in you don't remember this, but like game 3 of that Yankee series, Francona
Wakefield took the bullet.
Francona got into a golf cart across the field for whatever to go back into his office or whatever. He was crossing the field, getting bottles and trash thrown at him and all kinds of shit thrown at him, and they ended up. Not even a week later, he's the hero of the city.
Isn't it unbelievable?
It's crazy because
That's what's great about living around here, though. That's what I like. about
Boston
living
fans are obviously. I mean, we're one of the cities that have the most dramatic. They're most dramatic too. I mean, no matter what, we
That's
jump
what we
on
live in New
everybody.
England. We're quick to judge, and
Oh, very quick.
doesn't mean you don't like them. It just means you're passionate. That's it.
And it's sort of weird that
Sometimes to a
take
flaw.
if you take 01, you take the Snow Bowl, Adam Vinatieri, whatever the moment where everything sort of changed. The 15 years before that, we were calling ourselves Loserville. Remember, it was when guys like
No, we don't remember.
Yeah, what's his name from the Atlanta Braves? David Justice had a contract a clause in his contract that his lawyer gave up stuff so that they would put this clause in his contract that he couldn't be traded to the Red Sox. And we felt then like
I didn't know
the
that.
problem with this city is we're too intense. People come here and they wilt under the pressure.
Yeah, but was that a racist thing then?
Sure.
No, but that's why guys like
I
Pedro,
think it
they
was-
changed that. Pedro changed that. That's why I like
Bingo.
Chris Sale. Chris Sale's he's perfect for the city as long as the media
He's
stays out of
the
his way.
polar opposite of David
But he's a
Price.
killer. He's a
David
killer.
Price can't take the criticism.
He's
he
a
gets
killer.
involved in the social
Yeah.
media crap. Chris Sale doesn't have Twitter. He doesn't have
But Pedro
Facebook.
was a killer. Pedro came in here, he changed the attitude of the Red Sox.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He really
and
did.
I felt like we're so into it that it's impossible because we had a steady line of superstars that were always blamed for not being able to win it all. So it started with like Ted Williams and it went to Yaz and Jim Rice and Roger Clemens and Mo Vaughn all the way up to Nomar to the
Yeah,
point where
he was
and
the
I
greatest.
loved
Nomar was a loser. I'm sorry to say.
loved Nomar.
I did too,
I
but-
was relieved when they traded him because I said, okay, now he doesn't have to deal with
Remember
this
that
crap
game?
like
Remember the
remember.
game in Yankee Stadium when Jeter dove into the stands
Yeah.
and he was on the
yes,
bench?
the most overrated
Yeah,
moment.
they-
of
I know,
all
but
time.
point
It
is,
was
if
just-
Nomar was on the bench,
They had
that was
all
like
the fans.
the signature moment. It
the
was
rest
overrated.
the rest of the
but-
teammates were standing up against the rail watching the game,
And he was
they had the
sitting down.
picture in the paper
And
with
he was sitting
Nomar on the
down.
bench in the back.
Exactly,
It
sitting
was,
on his
uh,
hands. Oh, how did he get hurt? Did he get hurt?
No,
Is he
that
faking
was-
that he got hurt or
he
whatever?
was he was taking a day off every 3 games or something like that because he was just coming back from injury.
Well, he
But
was a
they were
steroid freak.
they
That's
were
why he
short.
was hurt.
They were short
See,
on.
this is why I was relieved when he was gone because it was starting to turn for him. And I remember specifically the moment I heard he got traded because I had 2 kids. Between them had about 10 friggin' Nomar jerseys in their closet.
I had
And,
a-
we didn't think we got any of them for him.
I had a
We got
No- I had a
Elena Cabrera
Nomar
and Doug
jersey.
Mientkiewicz.
Yeah.
And then Cabrera,
Dave
I
Roberts,
don't know.
Dave Roberts,
I
yeah.
wish they kept Cabrera too, because he only played that half season.
It started basically a curse of Nomar because they couldn't get 2 consecutive years out of a shortstop until Bogarts.
Right.
I mean, every year
Even then,
was
they tried to
something
put him at third.
No, they let Cabrera go, which no one could understand.
and they brought in Renteria.
having
Cabrera
sex
had an
with
entourage, I guess.
he was having sex with underage girls. And then they brought in Edgar Renteria, who was exactly that guy.
Tony Relusa said he would never do good here.
And I thought he was just trolling, but he was 100% right. And now he was one of those guys that I thought this is why. Before, people can't win here because we're too intense. But what we learned instead is there are guys who thrive.
That's why they should never get rid of John Lester.
Pedro, Schilling,
Yep.
Mo Vaughn. Not Mo
Well,
Vaughn.
the Red Sox,
Even a guy like Manny,
Ortiz.
as messed up as Manny was, for someone who signed a huge contract, he actually lived up to it. As screwed up as he was.
Best free agent signing ever.
Yeah.
Best free agent
Hey, a lot of
signing
guys
ever.
signed $170 million deals. Don't live up to what he did.
7 2/3 years of production out of an 8-year deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's unheard of.
It is.
And I remember when Mike Greenberg from Mike and Mike once put it
can't
perfectly.
stand those
Me too. Me neither. But he's a Yankee fan who said, "I've never seen Manny Ramirez make an out." And I go, "That's it." He was a miserable human being, but a superfluous.
The point is, though,
superlative
he's a
player.
human being. These guys are just athletes.
But getting
They're
back,
just humans.
but getting back to
Some love it.
Renteria though.
Some love the pressure.
When
some
Renteria
hate.
came here,
That's why I like
he was
Sale.
he was taking over for Cabrera when everyone wanted us to keep Cabrera. And
he
you know how
wasn't
Red
built
Sox
in the
fans are,
city.
they always pick one guy that they'll boo. They booed him on opening day, and they really didn't stop the rest of the season. He wasn't made for this town. Fans didn't embrace him right away. You basically
It's
knew
just
he
a shame,
wasn't going
though,
to make it.
because they had-
There's always that one guy.
But they had
there was
Theo.
Mark Bellhorn.
If they
there
would have
was-
let Theo do his thing, he never would have left. And they kept Lucchino over Theo, and then 3 years later they get rid of Lucchino. Like now he's at the cup. Like they should have never ever let Theo go.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. Like he won a power struggle and then found
Yeah, he
himself
won
in
the
another
first
power
battle.
struggle. And not that everything he did was spot on. I mean, he's the
No, but he
only
had a
guy
lot-
in the world.
but he did
Well, he
a
was
lot-
hired. He was hired when he was 28 years old.
But he did a lot of things that he didn't want to do. Crawford is one of them.
28 years old,
I know,
running a baseball team. I'm
I know
30
that-
now. I couldn't.
but
I couldn't
Crawford
2
was
years
one of
ago.
those
There's no
moves
way
that I don't
could
think
stop.
he wanted.
Was that Theo or was that Cherry?
No, that was Theo. That was
What?
11.
What?
That was 11. That was Theo's last year. Theo and Frank.
Because I know this isn't Frank.
But he didn't want that move. But that was the ownership, and Tom Warner wanted to be sexy again, and they should just let the guy run the goddamn team.
All right. Whenever I hear the stuff like from Francona's book about the meetings with a
And
marketing
you
department
walk
would
out
sit there
and
and
walk
say,
out
we
and shit.
need guys with a higher Q rating, guys that are sexier and whatever. And like, what? And you know, the great thing about the Patriots is
Belichick
they
would never
have
allow
a
it.
business
Traveling to
side and there's a
Arizona.
football side. And when Belichick says things like, hey, you know, I'm coaching a football team. I
He's
don't get
running the
into
team, too,
banners. I don't get into promotions.
Well, he gets to
I don't
run the
know
team.
about the concessions. I
Doesn't
don't care
care.
about
Doesn't
that
care.
stuff. And I think with the Red Sox is they always had overlap there. So Tom Warner would sit there and go, well, Nesson, you know, our focus groups say that we need this,
They
and
have
they
a
weren't making
preseason
baseball
game.
That's
decisions.
just
And
dumb, though.
it cost them Epstein.
You know what
who-
gets viewers? Winning. That's
Yeah.
what gets viewers.
Yeah, but they'd have a preseason game in Arizona the day before opening day at Yankee Stadium in '05, I think it was. And I mean, none of the players wanted to play, so he didn't bring Manny.
Well, no,
he didn't
none of
bring
those guys
He
tried.
didn't bring Ortiz. He didn't bring anybody,
Yeah, they don't
any of the big names, and then ownership got pissed at him. It was always a disconnect with them.
Well, it's like when what was the year that they like when Adrian Gonzalez on the team was 11, they had played like back-to-back games or something. They had to give him like headphones to like bridge the gap or something.
Right. Oh, right.
Something like
Oh,
that.
yes. That was part of the.
That's when
the-
John Henry fell off his boat or something.
That was kind of the chicken and beer thing.
Yeah, that
like
was
with
the
that
same
team with just a bunch of D-bags as a group. Like they had, and I don't want to say in all of them, but you get a group dynamic, and it changes
thought
from
they were
year to
better than
year.
they were.
You can hang out with 12 of your friends, and if the next time you get together, 2 of them are gone and they're replaced by 2 other guys, you're a different group
Yep.
of people.
Oh, yeah.
And that team was thoroughly unlikable to the point where they're complaining
They had a
about the
9-game
schedule.
lead in
Remember
September.
Remember they were belly aching about having games canceled because it was like a hurricane or some natural disaster. And Francona has a meeting where he's going, why are we worrying about things that have nothing to do with what goes on?
Adrian Gonzalez is one of those LA guys.
Yeah.
He can't handle the heat, and that's the thing. There's a certain type of player in Boston. That's why they should never get rid of Lester. Lester is a Boston guy.
Yes.
They
But
could have signed
Adrian
him for
Gonzalez-
$70 million. They could have got him for $150 in 6 years, 2 years ago, and they signed Price for $225.
Adrian Gonzalez
Clutch,
performed here
terrible.
though.
He did, but he was a loser.
He had a great season, and then after that, he just...
But he had a big mouth, and he was a loser. He was complaining about things like
that's
the
it.
schedule and the
Carl
travel.
Crawford was clearly the guy that couldn't handle the
No,
spot.
Joe Madden said that,
Crawford
too.
was Adrian. They got rid. They they put Adrian Gonzalez in there so they would take Beckett and Crawford.
No, they
off
would.
of us.
Theo loved Gonzalez.
Gonzalez was still.
But he wasn't
performing.
built for this market. He's an LA guy.
No, he wasn't
different-
happy.
It's a different mentality. There's certain guys, especially in baseball, the Patriots, the Bruins, Celtics is different. But in baseball, there is a mentality you have to have. That's why I like Sale. He's a killer. He's
Right,
gonna.
sure.
Yeah, but he's still a head
He
case,
drove
too.
across Florida to face the Yankees.
What's
like,
gonna
why do you
happen
want to
with-
do that? And he pitched 6 innings.
What's going to
fuck
happen
out
with
there.
Chris Sale when he goes on his first 3-game skid and
Well,
the
the media's
media's
gonna-
all over
doesn't
him?
matter, he doesn't-
I'm just saying. We don't know because he was a nutcase
I know,
last year,
but-
cutting up jerseys and
It doesn't
we're
matter.
just
I know,
waiting
and
for
the
that
media's
one
gonna mess
skid.
with him. The media's
and then
gonna mess with him.
media's all over him.
Doesn't
Fans
matter.
are all over him. What's going to
I
happen?
think he's going to win the Cy Young.
We talked about this when I was on with Dale and Holly, and it was the trading deadline, and Sale's name kept coming up, and when he cut up the jerseys and that weird stuff. Who's the player retired because they told this kid he couldn't be around 24/7?
Oh, on the White Sox, Adam Dunn.
No.
Yeah, the White Sox player. Oh God.
I'll look it up.
I'm hating myself. Yeah. But like,
wanna find that?
and Sale was one of the guys who was especially put out about that. I'm like, who is this kid? First of all, nobody wants to hang around with a 14-year-old.
Even D'Angelo Ortiz would be in the locker room every game, and he was around all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I was saying at the time, Sale is a complete nut job that I want to have on my team.
not a
because
bad thing.
Because those kind of because certain guys earn it. Like David Ortiz, all the things that he did that went up people's butts sideways. You know, the interrupting Frank Cohen's post-game presser to complain about it.
Because of an error.
Pedroia messed with him
Yeah.
that day.
Sure, and you know, and
Adam LaRoche.
Adam LaRoche,
Yeah.
right? And his kid, I'll think of what the kid's name was, but the kid was like.
He's like 12 years old.
Yeah, and so the point I was making is there are guys that have earned the right to be D-bags. David Ortiz earned that right. Like, if my problem with Justin Bieber is that he's not a good enough musician to go bombing 100 miles an hour down a side road.
Yeah,
If
but
it
when
was
you're
Eddie
19
Vedder, I'd say, okay, sure, you're Eddie Vedder. Like, you know, Hollywood is filled with guys. Mel Gibson is like an insane anti-Semite and a
But he makes
drug
great
addict.
freaking
And he
movies.
makes great movies, right? Look, you made Braveheart.
Heartbreak Ridge was good.
You made Heartbreak Ridge. You've earned the right to
Passion
go
of
off
the
the
Christ,
rails once in a
Patriot.
while. Right. Yeah, oh, the Patriot. I love
There's not enough Revolutionary War movies as far as I was concerned.
I know,
That's
and
a
that
good
wasn't a commercial
wasn't a
success,
true-
so we won't
but it
see
was-
another one,
no.
unfortunately. But I love
But
that.
you're
It
right,
was
though.
Braveheart
Did you
like.
see Patriot Day?
Haven't for.
I don't think I'm going to watch that one.
I haven't seen it yet. I
I
want
think I'm gonna wait till I'm with you, both you guys. I think I'll wait till cable. And the idea that it was like so good and so well done, but then they kept plunking Mark Wahlberg in the middle of
That's what I'm
everything.
saying. He's
if
not even
Mar-
a real character.
Right? Yeah,
He's not
exactly.
even-
Which I can deal. Okay, it's fiction, so you want to throw in like a guy to sort of move the story along, a composite character. That's been done before. That can work. But from what I hear, he's there at everything. Like he's there at the Watertown shootout. He's the one who tells the FBI what the stores were on Boylston Street, right? Because they don't have Google Street.
So he's
View,
a Boston
you know.
cop, he's a Watertown cop, and he's
Yeah.
a state policeman.
Wasn't it?
And he's
Yeah.
showing up everywhere.
Yeah, he's
and
he's back.
oh,
He's with he's in the intelligence room.
Have you seen
They
it, Terry?
said, they said
No,
he's,
I'm just saying. You see I saw a extended
Wasn't
trailer
the
for
kid,
it, and he's
wasn't
in
it the
every.
kid that Jerry Callahan knows that gave the FBI the sketch of the guys? The kid who lost his leg?
Freights?
No,
Not Freights,
the guy-
right?
Jerry Cal-
yeah.
You
Freights
know
is
I'm
the
talking
guy
about.
with
Freights
ALS.
is the-
Forgive me. I met him.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Total.
But
Peter
he
Freitas.
supposedly talked to the FBI, and you know, but that shit was messed up. And I get Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg's point. If you want to do it, he wants to do it.
Fucaril.
Fine.
That's it. I had the right.
I remember flipping around stations that day, and I remember.
I couldn't believe how
I
long
remember
it lasted.
Felger. I remember Felger
4 or
coming
5
on there.
days.
Felger coming on there, mentioning it, and saying, "We're taking calls, but we're not talking about the marathon. We're a sports station. All we're talking is sports." It's just stuff like that. You stop talking sports for a minute, and you talk. If you're a talk radio station, you talk. That's why I'll don't listen to 98.5, and I only listen to
I flip
EEI.
around.
It's a tough call.
I
I
can't
like
listen.
all
I
viewpoints.
can't.
I was on
can't
with
listen.
them the day of the school shooting in Colorado
With who?
in Connecticut. I used to do a weekly call-in with Felger and Maz
Oh, you
from
did?
my old
Yeah.
day job. This is pre-EEI. When
was that,
EEI
like
started
3-4
paying me,
years?
they're
You were
like,
just
can't do
with
that
Barstool?
anymore. Yeah, exactly. And it was the day of the shooting in Connecticut. I keep wanting to say Colorado. And they were just like, well, we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about
That's
other
what I'm
stuff.
saying,
You
like,
know,
you-
and it was
That's why I
hard.
give Kirk and Minahan credit. Is they will if there's an
Yeah.
important topic they'll talk about, it. And that's what you want to hear. When I'm driving in the morning,
I don't need to
always wanna
only hear
sports.
about sports, right? I mean, and if you don't like it, then go over to 98.5, but don't call in, wait 40 minutes to get on there and tell them to just talk sports.
To
That's
me,
that's what's ridiculous.
To me, it's about current events. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be exclusively sports, but it's
And you
the
guys-
stuff
you guys
that
touched on
people are
it, too.
talking about, and whether that's politics or whether it's a wacky story in the
But
news,
you were on
some
there-
celebrity thing. All right, I'll give a perfect example. Caitlyn Jenner has no effect on my life, yours, or anybody
but she's
else's.
interesting.
But it's just right. That's what everybody was talking about for a while.
How long
there.
were you on with Dale and Holly?
Exactly 2 years.
So you were on right during the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing.
Yep.
You were on right through the election. Well, through the heart of the
Campaign season.
campaign.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was I?
So, but you guys
Yeah,
didn't.
I was
I
there
mean,
after
I
the
know.
election,
I
yes.
know you
Yeah,
guys
you left
didn't
right
only
away.
talk sports.
No,
And
but
that's what-
mostly, and I think they felt
No,
like
you guys do-
the editorial bent that we had was, what does the guy in the car want to hear? So, for instance, like the windows looked right out over the Mass
Yeah,
Pike.
I know
We
your
would
office
point,
is on New
sometimes
Balance
physically
building.
point to those
Yeah.
guys. What does that guy want to talk about right now? He's getting out of work. He doesn't know that this transaction happened or this new Deflategate thing came out or whatever, and we would try to focus on that. And then at right at 5 o'clock, like reboot whatever we had been talking about for that person. And yeah, we stayed to sports a lot more than the morning show, but I think that's more
It's
of a
different
it's a
dynamic.
time frame. It's
That's always
it's
been
an
their thing in the
afternoon
morning, though.
Right.
Is they've
No,
always
that's
got off
they've
top.
been doing that for years, and it's worked obviously
that's it.
because
I
they were
remember-
number one forever.
I remember
until
all the way
98.
back
I think I was working
And
with two guys
they're
who were
number one.
so-
Are they number one now? I mean, Minahan puts that on his.
No, you know why
No.
they're number one?
They're number
Because
one, like, 48
Because
plus or
EEI has so
something.
many different stations. They have the Springfield
They're number
station,
one in
the
New
station-
England. Okay, they're number one in New England
That's
because they have
the
the
thing.
way they have Rhode Island. They
They're
have
not
New
number
Hampshire,
one.
The way ratings
Cape
are
Cod.
judged, you get a number, a specific number. And in the
14.
Boston market, and that's all that we go by as
Yeah.
far as like our bonuses, what's in your contract. Toucher and Rich are number one, they're close
the
to
fact
second.
But Tucker and Rich is a sports show, but they get the young people, and that matters.
fact
And they get
that-
a lot of carryover
Yeah, but-
from their old show that people.
Sure.
They're putting up like 14s or 15s, right? And the fact that the second show in Boston is another sports show, and they're putting up. I mean, Callahan and Minahan putting up 12s or 13s.
Oh, isn't it nuts?
The fact that your number 1 and 2 shows are sports shows, and that's pretty much right down the line
Yeah.
with the
Here's the
afternoon show
problem,
and,
though. There's
and the
like-
night show. There's room for one more sports
Callahan
station
and
in this
Minahan,
town.
like, they have-
Minahan
they
said
have-
it plenty of times. I
they
think
have an
so
older
too.
audience,
Even
though.
if you're number 10 in town, you know what I mean?
They have the older audience, which isn't good. You want that young demographic, and that's what.
That's why
Tucker
they
and
brought
Rich have.
Minahan in. That's why they brought Keith. I
Positive.
think that's why they brought Keith in after you.
Yeah, across the board, 98.5 is number one. EEI was number 2 in the morning, I think 4 in the midday, and then number 2 in the afternoon.
How the hell is Oddway
But
full,
but
though?
the, but
'Cause I
the
fucking love
older
Oddway.
but the older demo, you know what? I think the reason is,
just a
and
spot.
Ordway's great at what he does. People love Zolak.
But I like
You
Zola in
could-
football.
You could put
I like
Zolak.
Zola in football, but I don't
Just
like many
football.
I like Mark Bertrand. He's always been good to me.
Yeah, I like.
I'm not a
He's
Bertrand.
He's not a UMass.
But anyway,
he's not
he's
a
the
UMass
third.
guy.
He's the third co-host that Zolak has had, and the
Maybe that's why I
ratings
don't
have
like him.
stayed the same. Like you could put,
Because it was
Zolak with
Tangway.
a cactus.
Who was it? Tangway?
And then Gresh.
Gresh. I
yeah.
can't stand Gresh.
Yeah.
And they were good during football season. That's why I
the
like Zoe.
ratings
Zoe
were
knows his shit during football. Which is what I like.
And he's one of those guys that nobody doesn't like. Everyone likes
Yeah, I like
Zolak. And so we were always number 2 behind Felder and Maz, who also have a death grip on that younger demo. And it's hard. And I started to notice at EEI, like when I was really starting to debate, do I stay here? Do I sign another contract?
That's a
do I
tough
go back?
decision, though,
Yeah, I
right?
go, oh, it was not how I
I mean,
drew
that's
it
a
up.
dream job.
Yeah, it was
I've listened to
definitely
sports
not
radio
how-
since in high school. I mean, that's a dream job on EEI.
Oh, sure.
I should have went to AM, FM way earlier.
Oh,
That's what
obviously.
screwed them. Is they were AM up
Right.
until 98.5 came on, then they went to FM finally. If they
Right.
would have went
That's right.
earlier, 98.5 might not even started.
Right, they were a Burger King that let McDonald's
850,
build right across
850 you
the
couldn't
street.
get, you couldn't
and-
hear it in Blackstone 850 AM. You couldn't hear it.
Right, and once people go to FM, they never go back.
Yeah.
How often you listen to AM radio?
nobody
now?
does.
103.7 was the
and
first one
I'll
we
get
got.
into the decision to leave a little bit, but as I was starting to debate it, and I knew what the numbers were about our demos, I started to notice that the ads were for weight loss, hair
Dale
restoration and divorce lawyers.
Or
Weight loss, hair loss,
Hair
and,
restoration is
and-
like 90% of your
is that
ads.
the
I feel
Barry
like.
Sanders? The
Wait,
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, exactly. Cordell and Cordell.
Yeah.
Weight loss, hair loss, and wife loss. And it's kind of like sometimes I'll watch TV shows and I'll find myself going, every ad here is for a reverse mortgage or that cane that stands up by itself. Like I'm really watching old TV here. Like I really got to update this. I mean, if I'm watching Rick and Morty on Cartoon Network, they're not running ads for reverse mortgages because they know that it's me and a bunch of 19-year-olds are watching this crap.
Right.
EEI, they're catering to their older demo, and Barstool, it's
that's
all
why-
the beer companies, and it's and it's.
That's why I think
lifestyle.
EEI brought you on, because you are a Barstool family. They're trying to cater to the younger audience. When you left, they brought Keith in because he's a younger guy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. That's what they're working on. Is trying to
Then get
lean
Dale
more
off
towards
the
the younger
midday show.
audience.
They're-
But it's still
they're
not
dying.
working, and I don't understand why.
And
Because I
he-
still think they got better quality
I'm with
than
you.
98.5. I
Yeah,
can't
it doesn't
get
matter
myself
about
to
that
listen
though.
to
People are
98.5.
stupid, man.
Yeah,
People are
Felder
dumb.
is
Felder has
great
everyone
at
hooked.
what he does.
And he
But I
plays
still
that,
don't
that
listen.
contrarian stuff, which that's kind of how I am.
I still don't.
like
I'll
it.
still rather listen to Dale and Holly. I
I
like
flip back
Keith a
and
lot.
forth.
I think
No.
Keith's doing a really good job. I do.
Sure.
But Felger and Matt, they do. They got a hook on. And Toucher and
And
Matt
I
have
love-
a lot of old fans from their old show that aren't even sports.
I love the inside radio stuff. How right now Minahan and Keith are going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
well, that's Kurt goes after everybody, and he always has. Yeah, please. What are you drinking? Yingling, please.
Yeah, and I called in this week. And
Oh yeah.
and I told.
Thanks for that. It was hilarious.
No, I called into Dale and Holly.
Oh,
and
right.
I told Rich Keefe. I said the only reason Minahan keeps going after you is because he's jealous of you because you're the new cool guy in school. He's mad at Holly because he got the new TV show, and they didn't even ask Minahan, probably because I don't know. He's a loose cannon. And I don't know why he's
Okay.
addicted. I don't know why he's addicted to Dale, but it's kind of funny. sometimes.
Here's what Kirk Minahan wants. This is what his priority is. He wants to do a really good radio show and get high ratings. And you know what? And there's a lot to be said for that. And if it's acting like he hates Dale when he doesn't hate Dale, he just doesn't. And but plays that that character that is going after everybody, he will do it.
That's my favorite show.
And it's not everybody's favorite thing. It's a lot of people love it.
A lot of people
and I
like
get
the
it.
inside radio crap. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
he did the podcast with you, and you guys talked a lot of the inside radio stuff. He did a podcast with Michael Holly. There was a lot of that too.
Yep. And Ordway.
Yeah, and that was those got great ratings because people like listening to. I do. I know I do. And I liked how I called up, and they ended up playing all their responses of my call for 20 minutes, and then because Callahan's like, I heard someone called in and told you to punch Keith, told Keith to punch him in the nose. That was me.
you, Alex.
I just told him to punk him out. I didn't tell him to punch him out. But I mean, I feel like if I love Minahan and Callahan, I feel like if I worked with them and the way he treats his coworkers, I wouldn't be able to deal with it. I'd end up going up to him face to face.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's
I
the
wouldn't-
thing.
not like I'd
When-
fight
when
the
I
guy,
said
I'm
his
not-
priority is to do
Get
good radio and get
ratings.
part of that is not in the equation. Is he doesn't care if people like him or don't like him, and there's something admirable about that. It
No,
goes
you're right,
against
you're
human
right,
nature, but it's about doing the job and getting a show that gets traction, that gets people talking or whatever.
And it's got
that's
people
great.
talking right now.
Like I had people, why don't you go after him? Because you're a comic. Like you can take the abuse, and I go, it's not that. It's not how I'm wired. I attack people on the outside. I attack Roger Goodell. I attack sports writers in other towns. I attack anybody
Shaughnessy.
that comes after me.
You attack Shaughnessy. I've heard you attack him a couple times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you know what? Because he's got nothing but contempt for the audience.
Well, he said
And
some
that's-
stuff about
that's
you,
a
too.
Huge. Oh, absolutely. And I was at EEI for a matter of days before he threw shade at me and at Dale, and so I wrote a thing on the blog just eviscerating him.
Pornography.
Yes, I'm doing it. Yep, I basically bringing
Check
my
it out.
corner up.
Pornography's still on EEI, right? You still doing that weekly?
No, I'm strictly Barstool.
Oh, I
but
thought-
what
I
I did
thought-
was I took the Barstool things that I did and brought them to EEI, and God bless them, they gave me a spot.
But you didn't
on
do the
there.
rate the teacher.
Okay, yeah, I want to get
That's
into
it.
that.
You know,
That's
rate the teacher was
Okay,
probably
that-
one of your most popular, right?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It
I
absolutely
mean,
is
rate the
huge.
teacher was I mean, I remember looking at that when I went like way back.
And
And it's-
I've been doing them still.
That's
I'm
something.
doing-
That's a
I'm
big,
doing-
big. People always bring that up on their
Oh,
phones or
for-
whatever.
for 2
Remember Rate the
years.
Teacher?
grading the sex scandal teacher. When
That's
See, South
Jerry.
Park,
Jerry's
nice.
Jerry's
no,
been.
on
Barstool.
the Barstool.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry's been doing
South Park
this.
did an episode where Ike banged the teacher and then no one would call her on it because the guy banged the girl. They're all like, nice.
But did they do that when you left?
Okay, what happened
was
is
smoke show like
I invented this at Barstool years and years ago, and I thought this might be like a one-off thing. And then someone sent me another one. A few days later, I got another, and they just never stop. So
It's unbelievable
I'm
how they
trying to
kept coming
establish
up.
myself at EEI and do something that's unique and whatever, but not copy what I did before. Well, after a few months, I felt like, okay, this has been established. This blog, I'm getting some traction. I'm gonna do one of these, and I said it to them, to the editors. I said to Rob Bradford, like, this is here. If you wanna post this, you don't have a problem with it. It's there. Do whatever you want.
You know how many
And he
people?
said-
You know how
he
many
said,
people?
hold
you-
on, but he says, okay, go ahead and post it, and they did. And then he gets a call from Chad Finn from the Globe saying, my bosses wanted me to talk to you about, Thornton has this thing about a woman having sex with one of her underage
Who
students.
cares?
And he goes, yeah, I goes, okay, well, we're gonna do a feature on that. And Rob says, well, it's coming down. We won't see it again. And Chad goes, good, I'm glad. I like Thornton, and I don't want to
that,
have, my
though.
boss are telling me to go after him. That's the only thing they ever told me that I couldn't do. I
Really?
wasn't gonna die on the hill of it, but for 2 years,
protect the
every
wall, man. Guard
single
the wall.
time I talked to a Barstool reader, the second thing they would mention was the sex scandal teachers. Hey, Mr. Lutz,
Everyone
Mr. Lutz,
loves
what do you got?
that.
And I go, well, those women are the real heroes. I'm just the guy who recognizes them for,
That's what sucks, though, when you
what
play-
they're doing for America.
Place like EEI, you gotta watch what you do.
Yeah, well, the second blog I wrote coming back to Barstool, the first one was a recap of the Patriots games, the knee-jerk reactions that have kind of built my church on the rock of those things.
yeah.
And the second thing I did was a teacher, and it went nuts. And then I was only there a couple of weeks before I did one that was the year in review, and yeah,
That's the thing, though. A
it
place like
took off.
Barstool, you can probably do whatever you want. No one cares.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I
How
hate
is it-
about
how is it
mainstream
working with-
media crap, is that you say something and all of a sudden you get stereotyped whatever you want. That's BS.
Does Portnoy have to go over your stuff before you
No.
put it on? He doesn't
thought he
even
sold
care.
the thing.
He doesn't care at all.
No,
I thought he sold Barstool.
Yeah, but he's still in charge.
He
I give him
sold-
credit. He said, if I get $10 million, I'll sell it, and then he
He's,
sold it.
He sold 51%. He has the other 49. So it's to the churning group. The
Anyone who
C-
goes to the NFL headquarters and gets arrested, dude, is
Oh,
me.
believe me,
That was
and I
awesome.
would have been with them.
I know, I
if I
surprised
wasn't.
you weren't.
Well, I was at EEI, and I
Yeah,
had
that's the
a
thing.
job
See,
to do.
you
And not to
trace
mention,
mainstream
guys,
media.
with my bone structure and my swimmer's body, I wouldn't have lasted a minute in a
built
lockup
like a
in
Greek
Manhattan.
god.
Yeah, exactly. I would have been the belle of the ball in that lockup.
I heard your
It would have been.
your nickname growing up was Radar from MASH.
Radar having nothing to do with Radar from MASH. It was just a stupid high school. Where'd you get that from, by
One
the
of the
way?
guys at the bar.
Oh, that's great.
I wasn't here for 5 minutes and I heard they said,
that's
I guess
great.
Radar's doing
Yeah,
a
no, I had
podcast
no-
today. I said, Radar? I said, Jerry? Radar? That's
Totally.
funny because I work with a guy that has the same nickname because of the guy from MASH.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
See, mine had nothing to do with that. It was just a dumb
Oh.
thing that.
No,
had nothing
we
to
got
do
plenty
it.
of friends with
Yeah.
dumb nicknames.
And everybody
We're
that
all- that's what we-
everybody I grew up with has a nickname.
Yeah,
Yeah, us too.
no one calls me Andrew. It's Ledger, Sledge, whatever.
that-
He's
I got a friend
covering
Beaver that
all-
nobody knows his first
Yeah.
name.
Oh yeah.
I went to school for you for 4 years. They didn't know my
The,
name.
the guy at the bar who told you about that, our mutual best friend is Cliffy. They have
guy who
another
gets straight shirt.
another mutual friend answers to the name Peckerhead. Answers to the name, has no problem with it. But this used to freak out like Dale and Michael as I tell them like, no, my friends, they're all
talk about-
right. It's Cliffy, it's Dave-O, it's Duke,
yeah,
it's
I remember
Brink,
hearing
it's
you say stuff like that. But you're
those
right.
guys-
That's how we are.
It's because those guys,
No one
those
says their
guys
first
grew up.
name.
Those guys didn't grow up around here, so they don't know how to talk about their group.
Oh,
like
Dale
you
grew up in
with
Maine,
a group
which
of
is
friends, you
weird.
still talk to
Right.
them, you still hang out. with
Ollie's
them.
from
And you grew up with
Ohio.
all the heartache that you went through with all the sports stuff, so you still watch games with them. Those guys, I mean, Dale's from Maine and Michael's from Cincinnati or Cleveland.
From Central
Ohio.
Ohio. All right, this is a story that they couldn't wrap their brains around. How after the Pats lost to the AFC title game out in Denver
What, 13 or last year?
last year.
Oh, the Gronk 2-point conversion.
Yeah, exactly.
Game they had no business
I
being in, yet they still
within
were.
minutes after the game, I start getting texts from my friend Davo, who is saying like, "You better go on the air and say that Brady sucked. All right, you better have the guts
hit
to do
35
that."
times.
And I'm going, well, first of all, I didn't hear from you last year when you won the Super Bowl. But second of all, I go, you're the same guy who followed me home from school after the Bucky Dent game going, the Red Sox choked! They choked! You love that team, but they choked! The Red Sox suck! I go, this is our relationship. It hasn't changed. And I said, I love you, but I can't stand you. Like, I'm never happy around you. We were in each other's wedding parties, and we shared a desk in first grade, and I've never enjoyed a minute of your company. And those guys couldn't figure out, like,
Sounds like
what
group of
kind
friends.
So you can.
But we don't
relate.
have
I think-
really does.
We
I
don't
think
have
it's-
friends that are against us. Everyone we know is Patriots, whatever fans.
And we all grew up together.
Yeah,
Our same group of friends,
but
the
thing
same
is,
people from
But that's what
middle
makes
school to
sports
high
fun,
school.
though. That's what makes it fun. I remember I used to go to school kids, and they'd be Patriots fans and Yankees fans. Like, you can't be both. Like, you either like New York or you don't. But I get it.
Red Sox
Your
fans and
grandfather,
Yankee. You
know,
said
your grandfather
Patriots
was
fans,
this,
Yankee fans.
whatever it is.
But tell me your group of friends didn't always have that contrarian guy. Like, for
Yeah,
instance, the
this guy
same
right
guy
here.
I'm talking about was the one who,
I'm a realist.
you guys overrate
That's what he said, that's
Larry
what he said.
Bird. You
No,
think
He's
no,
the,
no,
he's
no,
the
no.
contrarian. I'm
I
telling
don't
you, every
like that.
time.
I think the Celtics
when we say
overrated.
when we say he's the negative contrarian guy, he's like, no, I'm just a realist.
Yeah,
Right now, he hates Isaiah Thomas. They're a fake.
I don't
first
hate
place
him. I don't
team.
think they're gonna win a
every
title.
year. Every year, it's this.
I think they're further.
Two different arguments.
I think they're
Every
further away
year.
from a title now than they were. It's easy to go from last place to where they are now from where they are now to a title.
You know that is the guy that
Okay, all right.
you're talking about right now. I'm
Okay,
telling
yeah.
you, he's
This is the guy
No,
that-
everyone in our group of
Hey,
friends
Jerry,
agreed
We
with
would
Jerry.
freak out because Larry Bird hit a game winner. We go, you don't talk about the times he takes a
Yeah, but I
game
love
winner and
Larry
he
Bird.
misses the
That's
shot.
cool.
I go. You
didn't grow up with Larry Bird.
I'll tell you, and I'm
grew up-
gonna get back to you and Isaiah Thomas in a minute. But
All
I had
right,
a,
good.
I had
I
a
like it.
buddy
Listen.
who was like a couple of years ago citing all these facts that why to prove that Brady is not as clutch as we think he is. I'm talking about a different
Sounds
guy.
like him.
My
No.
buddy
Who
Sue.
was the only one who freaking
Right.
texted everyone and said the game wasn't over at 20-3? Me. I never freaking wavered. These guys all went home.
Kudos to you because I didn't have.
No, I texted my
shut
brother.
down.
no real person.
No. Well,
I got text messages to prove
Listen,
it.
hey,
So my buddy Sug used to send me all this info to show how Brady's not as good as we think he is in the clutch, whatever. And I said, here's the thing: I like arguments, and I like people can back them up with facts. And there might be some merit to your argument, but how is it fun? Like if we were around in 1976. Talking about Bobby Orr, would you cite me stats and say Bobby Orr's not as good as you think he is, and he's on the decline? And he goes, "Oh man, you really cut me deep with that." I go, "Yeah, exactly. We're watching one of the
all
greatest
relative.
players of
Yeah.
all time."
He's Babe
any
Ruth.
sport.
I'm not
He's
gonna
Babe
have-
Ruth. He's
wait,
Babe Ruth. He's
I'm not
Michael
going to have a
Jordan.
grandchild on my knee and sit there and have him say, "Wow, I love football. You saw Tom Brady play?" I go,
That's what I
"That's
said.
right."
Yep.
Grandpa was the first one to say he sucked. Other people believed in him, but I bailed on him before anybody else. How is that fun? You get guys like Bird.
gotta
like-
have those guys,
In
though.
my lifetime, Orr came along when I was a real little kid. I got to see enough of that
And
to
Orr was only around for
understand.
7 or 8 years before
Right,
he got hurt.
Bingo.
And then
If-
his agent screwed him, went to Chicago. But he was only around for like 8-9 years around
Right,
Boston, right?
unfortunately, he grew up in the day where they cut your knee open with leeches and a fucking farming implements and
Yeah,
stuff like
torn
that.
ACL was end of your career.
Right. I, a couple of years ago, had meniscus surgery. It was totally non-invasive, and I was like up and walking a couple of days ago. This is how unfair life is, because I am a guy who sits at a desk and I'm up and around. Bobby Orr, they just gutted him with like, a medieval
Yeah, but that-
barber.
you know
You're
that
gonna tell me
almost
that you wouldn't trade that negative buddy of yours for anything though. Because he's the guy. I wouldn't. I love going to the bar and fighting with you.
Yeah, that's
about
what we
everything,
do.
'cause you're just. I
You know
know.
what it is though?
I
Is
know
like
what
the
your point of
Celtics,
view is
these
going to
guys
be.
like him too much, so it makes me hate him.
I know what the point of
You
view.
know what
I
I'm
know what your point of view is
That's
going to
a
be
common
before
thing
I
with the
see you. though.
Celtics. That is a very common.
It's not
I
just the
think
Celtics though.
the
He's like this
contempt-
with everything.
No,
The
not with the
contempt for the
Patriots.
green
Not
team.
with
Not
the
with
Patriots.
Brady. That's it. The only thing I can say is not negative with is Brady.
Two
'cause you
Super
can't-
Bowls in, you still wanted Bledsoe.
Yeah, I was a big
He's
Bledsoe
still
guy.
walking around with a Buffalo.
But hey, I was 9 years
Walking
old
around
when
with
he drafted. Hey, when they beat Pittsburgh in 01, and he played, me and my brother went to Foxborough, and he came out in a big brown suit. We were all shaking his hand. And I said, Brady's going to win 2 before I liked him. Once he won 2, that was it.
Yeah,
That was it.
He walked around with a
And I
Bledsoe
admit it, though.
Buffalo jersey.
Oh, sure. I'm the youngest of 5, okay? My oldest brother was the first guy on the Brady train who just said, I don't want to see Bledsoe back. This is my guy. My brother was like
16,
one.
you brought
who-
this up in the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
My brother who's like a couple years older
Where were you?
than
Where
me.
did you stand in that
Okay.
argument?
Well, my brother's a couple years older than me, was mad that they won a Super Bowl with Bledsoe, just like you. The Christmas of 2002, I bought him a Bledsoe Bills jersey for Christmas, just like you're saying. I have a specific moment where I said, okay, I'm all in on Brady, and it's when
That was after they beat Carolina.
when Bledsoe was healthy again, and
The Rams game was the
and
first
he
game.
made the ballsy decision to say, Brady's still starting, even though Bledsoe's healthy.
He took
Bledsoe's
one
gonna
for the team.
It was against the Saints. And I was like, okay, let's see what this kid does with the franchise quarterback. And at that point, Bledsoe was the highest paid player in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
He had signed a deal that offseason.
And that shows you the balls.
Was it
Bill
the
had.
first $100 million contract?
Yeah, exactly.
That shows you the balls Bill
And
had,
so
though.
Bledsoe-
Bill knew.
Brady goes out against the Saints and he throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And I said, Team Tom,
Yeah, but you gotta-
I'm in. I'm not
But
looking
still-
back. I'm not looking
But still,
back.
even in that Super Bowl against the Rams, right? He had like 70 yards going in the last drive.
True, absolutely true.
And whatever, he won, fine, cool. But like I said, I was 9 years old. Bledsoe got drafted. That was my guy.
I got you.
Hey, even this year, the Bledsoe jersey comes out once every Super Bowl. I wear it every year. I don't care.
You know
I
how
wear it.
hard I fought
Because
people
he's the
who
reason
hated Bledsoe?
he stayed here because of them. They
Right.
stayed here because of him and Parcells, the crap on the team. But he built that stadium.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
sure.
did. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Without Parcells and Bledsoe, there wouldn't be this going on right
And
now.
that's the thing.
Believe me, I can't tell you how many Monday mornings I had arguments with my coworkers at my old crappy day job who would be like, Bledsoe blew it.
Toughest-
They
toughest
lost
player of
35 to
What
27.
did you do before Barstool?
While I was at Barstool, I worked at a Massachusetts courthouse.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, you
Yeah,
talked
exactly.
about that. Yeah, yeah.
And
You talked
I was
about that
doing
many times.
Barstool on the side of my lunch hour, and much to the chagrin of the people who would like, I'd be sitting there in the middle of a trial. I was a badge monkey. I was a bailiff. I worked with jury trials and stuff. And I'd have
You've
lawyers
seen a
come
bunch
up
of
to me and
different
say like, so how do you think the trial's going? I'm like, I don't know. I'm only been like looking up stuff
don't
about
care,
the
but
Patriots.
you know a lot
Don't
of
have a
legal
dog
stuff.
in your fight. I'm sure your little murderer might get off, but I really don't care. As long as nobody escapes and I go home today, I'm good. I just want the
Yeah, but
Patriots
you
to
paid attention because every time there was a legal thing going on, whether it was Hernandez or whatever, like you'd chime in with your legal background. I know you. I remember listening to
I was
it.
probably wrong more often than not.
I remember
but
listening.
because
You
I
sounded right. It's
I
all
was
about it.
disinterested.
Yeah,
If you sound
confidence is key.
confident, if you sound confident,
That's what he says
And
about
by the
me.
way, nobody leaves those jobs, and I left that job, and it freaked people
worked
out.
out.
And
State job?
my old buddies at work called me the
That's probably-
Caesar from Planet of the Apes because I'm the monkey that started to talk, and like got up and actually like walked upright and stuff like
Don't
that.
resist.
Yeah, exactly. Because nobody leaves those jobs, and I liked my
That's the
job.
job
but,
you
but
have is
thank
the only one
God,
that you would leave
Thank
for.
God I had Barstool because in writing the book and these things I did on the side because I would have gone nuts.
Those guys
if-
are
of all I-
hilarious. I remember he went on 98.5 and he wasn't allowed. The NFL wouldn't allow him inside like the media tent at the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So he took like the microphone and it was like outside the boundaries and they did it.
They did that this week. They did that this
Yeah.
year. Callahan
And that's bullshit.
And Minahan did that this year.
Like,
They
how
wouldn't
can you
let
deny
them. They said
someone
they're
a
not real media.
You know what? Best thing that ever happened to us.
I know, that's what the NFL doesn't understand. It
It
makes-
made us
gives
the
more-
bad
They
boys.
brought
and
it up
correct-
in the Fidel press conference. They
Oh
brought
yeah.
up Barstool.
Oh, I'm not
Okay,
familiar
that was
with
an
who
idiot.
that is.
Okay, I know. Yeah,
Fraud.
everyone knows you're.
But I mean,
familiar.
you got like Pro Football Talk was covering it and saying this is the biggest story of Super Bowl week.
That's what
is
people
the
don't get.
Barstool Sports being kept
Yeah.
out of, and to even when the time I was away, and that's when they
How did
sold
they
out.
not send you down there?
Yeah, they needed somebody to be like the guy who's covering the stories because they were doing the TV and the Comedy Central and whatever. I would have been happy to go down there. I went down for EEI sent me down, and it was like a life-changing experience. I mean, I got to.
I couldn't imagine.
I
Radio
met
Row,
Robert
whatever.
Kraft. I went to media day and I
Robert,
met.
you had Bill Belichick come back and ask you for your
Yeah, that's
autograph
a
in
good.
your
Yeah, I
book.
wanted to ask you
That
about
was
that.
like,
How awesome was that? 'Cause I thought he was
what's
going to
the
return the
feeling?
book and he
But
asked
Bill
you for his
Belichick
autograph.
coming in and asking
What's
for
he
you
like?
for your
What's he like
autograph.
off air? He must be the man.
I take a bullet for him, honest
Yeah.
to God. I say that
You're like
without a
Edelman.
shred of irony.
That's the thing.
Two-
People
right,
don't
two
say
things.
he's an
My-
a-hole and stuff. No, he acts away. The discipline he has in front of the media is incredible because he
Right.
does that thing on purpose. He's been doing it for.
He
20
treated
years.
Jerry a lot different than he treated Dale
But my-
or Mike.
but my
Like,
point is-
he treated you like.
But people-
remember he talked to them like they were a bunch of assholes. And he
because they
talked
are.
like they were real media, and he talked to you like he was your
But
buddy.
it doesn't matter. The way he acts is all an act, and none of these media people get it.
Yeah, but he talked
Would
to
you rather
Jerry
the
like
coach
a real
come out and say, I
guy.
don't want to comment or lie to you and give you some bullshit story. The media would rather have someone lie to him. The way he acts in front of the media, that takes discipline to do that for 20 years. And
Yeah.
Didn't he
Obviously.
talk to you like you were his buddy or something?
Oh yeah, first full time on the job. I go down to, we have a studio at Gillette
Yeah,
Stadium,
Gillette, yeah.
and it was Patriots Monday. So now he's going to be coming in, and for me, I'm like a 4-year-old about to meet Santa.
That's
I'm
all-
all
yeah, I
like,
couldn't
like,
take
am I
myself.
going to
Imagine.
freeze? Am I going to be nervous? Am I going to wet my pants? Am I going to get him uncontrollably? So he walks in,
Billy Goat.
and he shakes my hand with a big smile, right? Like, how does he even know who the hell I am? And
I
we
listened to
go
this.
we go on the
Yeah,
air,
I
and he
remember
goes, Dale, good to see you. Michael, good to see you. And Jerry, It's an honor to finally meet
Yeah,
you.
I
And I know it is.
I would've been
I
right
like,
by.
oh my god, oh my god, right? And just we get off the air, and after the end of the interview, and he says, and Jerry, I can't wait to be able to do this again. And so, I mean, like off the air. And there were times when he was being himself, like he wasn't being
Yeah, but that's the
effusive.
thing.
He was giving us short answers because it was like a
That's the media part
Right.
of him.
And
He's
when
different
the-
and off. And
right.
people don't get that. He's a
And-
different guy off
Exactly.
camera.
And when those things happen, I'm ear to ear, baby, because I don't care if you didn't love my incredibly well-crafted question. Just win games. And if he feels like deflecting my question will help his team focus or whatever, I'm fine with that. I'm not sitting there at the front row of his press conference going, "Oh, how dare he
Yeah.
disrespect
The media's pissed
me?"
'cause
Well,
they
doesn't
can't
he
do
not
their
like?
job.
Doesn't he
It's 'cause
not
you're a
like
fan
Michael because of the War Room book or?
Well, Michael did Patriot Rain.
I
I
thought-
don't think he likes
I thought he
Michael.
had an issue with Michael
No.
because of one of his books.
There were
Or Patriot
literal-
Rain or War Room.
Not to my knowledge. There were
Patriot
literal-
Rain was a great book.
Yeah, there were times literally he would stay through the commercial break and we'd have to come back on the air and we'd have to shoo him away because he'd be telling us about something like, oh my God, one time he talked about there's a World War II museum in Danvers.
Yes, I heard about
which
this
I'd never
too.
heard about.
I heard- I mean, I
and
listened
we
to
had
this
to go,
one too.
Bill, we gotta go. Thank you very much. And like,
How do you shoo Bill Belichick out of the room? I would
Because
never do
I
that.
know,
I
except
would
for
never
Mabel.
do that.
Yeah, but he gets.
Jeez,
he'll
hey,
get caught up. He
shut
gets-
up, chatty Cathy.
he
Come
Bill's
on,
a
memorizes
wicked
facts
history
like
guy.
No,
I mean,
oh
you could
my
bring
God.
up a play from a game in the.
Well, that's like Brady.
2001
Brady knows
playoffs,
every play he's
and he
ever
goes
seen.
off on just
Yeah.
this one play for a half hour,
And
and it's
there's
like.
nothing I'd rather
What?
listen to. Him talking about old football stuff.
Yeah,
it
like-
just
Yeah, but that goes
it's something that no one
time
else
goes
would
on.
think of.
And he
Like,
That
rarely
goes
gives
back
it.
to where he's from, though, the Naval Academy, and that's the discipline that he had from his father, you know, and he carried it through.
I don't know what it is, but he's
No, but
he's
that's
not,
what
he's
it
not
is,
a
though.
normal guy. That's for sure.
No, but he loves football.
Right.
That's his passion, and that's the great thing. And people who say, "Oh, he doesn't give answers to media," good. I don't want him to because we win games, like you
not
said.
his
Exactly. Right. And when
His job is to win games.
Is there anything funnier than people say, oh, I think he's going to retire when Brady retires? Show me that guy that's on his knee in front of his defensive line
That's
on the
what I
bench
said.
in the middle of the games. Show me that guy who's down at the Vanderbilt Pro Day working out Zach Cunningham and going through the specific drills. And you tell me that he would rather be
He's a coach.
sitting behind a desk grab-assing with Terry and Boomer and Howie. You know what I mean?
Watch the Super Bowl replays. You got Mike Smith in the sideline. Here we go, blah, blah. Belichick's diagram plays, and this guy's cheering everybody
Well,
on.
I hate the argument. Who is it, Belichick or is
It's
it
both
Brady?
of them.
It's them together.
It's both
'cause
of them.
like,
Right.
that's
Neither
why
one
there's
of them-
5
Brady
Super
might have
Bowls.
one or two.
If it's just
and
Brady,
Belichick probably have one, but they wouldn't have five.
if it's just Brady,
No, it's
he'd be
not.
like Peyton Manning. Maybe have
Yeah.
1-2 Super Bowls.
Look
If
at
it's
Drew-
just
Drew
Belichick,
Brees-
he'd be like whatever. coach
Aaron
that has
Rodgers,
1-2
right? The
Super
greatest
Bowls.
quarterback of all time has been to
Put them
one Super
together,
Bowl.
you got 5
Right,
Super
yep.
Bowls.
He's
Yeah.
not as cerebral as Brady. What he does is he makes running plays everyone loves. It looks great, but he loses in the end.
He's only
Patriot-
been to 1 Super Bowl.
Makes
I know.
insane throws too.
I don't care. It's not a winner.
Yeah.
I'm all about the wins.
Patriots haters are divided into two camps. There's it's all Belichick, not Brady, and
It's both.
it's all Brady, not Belichick. And what I want to do is carefully pair them
Yeah,
up,
that's what
maybe
we-
get like a Christian Mingle type dating site, and pair them off, and then
Get
put
some
them in
Muslims
boats
and
and
Christians
send them out
in the
into
same
the ocean, and then hit them with flaming arrows and let them die a horrible death.
Viking
Because
funeral.
right. So you're saying that if Brady,
Viking
instead of being drafted by the Patriots, if he had been drafted by, say, the Rams,
They would have blew
that
it.
right,
might have
that-
never won anything.
Exactly. And to say that if the Patriots had instead drafted Todd Husack, who was still on the board, that they would have the success. Now, it's both.
That
and
doesn't
it's, And
matter,
it's the
though.
way they work
It doesn't
together.
matter.
It's a symbiotic.
It was a
thing.
perfect storm.
Yeah, and it's
Brady's a winner.
Brady
That's the thing. He's a
subjugates
winner.
himself to the coach, understands that this is the guy who's going to put me in a position to win, so removes his ego from the equation, but also is listened to. I mean, you watch the Belichick of football life, and that's 2009.
They go in and they talk about what's his face from was it the Ravens? Ed Reed.
Oh yeah,
And they
yep.
talk about he's my favorite player to play against, Brady says, and they always smoked him, just like
Yep.
Pittsburgh. They always
Sitting
smoke
in his
Pittsburgh.
office, going over the game plan or whatever, and it's not an ego thing. Both those guys
They
are
wanna
just
win.
bizarrely fixated on that.
That's
and
his,
nothing
that's
else.
going to be his,
nothing but
that's the
winning,
thing
and
is
it's
like
great.
guys like Brett Favre, as good as Brett Favre was, even Aaron Rodgers, they don't have that drive. Brady's
No
got
one's
5 Super Bowls.
ever
Easy,
committed
easy.
their entire life
Yeah.
to just their
That's what I
craft like Brady has.
Dude, it's hard when you're 39. You've won as much as he did to stay as motivated, but that's
They're saying
why he's
now
great.
Aaron Rodgers is all of a sudden buying into this TB12 thing
No,
or
it's
whatever.
because ESPN's all about what's
Brady
hot.
didn't just start this now. Brady started this.
Well, that might be his
way
legacy, is his
15
longevity.
years ago. You can't just. Aaron Rodgers is a little too late if he's going to buy into it now.
Fellas, one of the things
It's a
no one's talking
lifestyle.
about this offseason is Ben Roethlisberger is talking about retiring and saying he's not sure. I mean, deep into March, a guy who is among the top 5 quarterbacks
for sure.
of the last 10 years is debating whether he's going to play next year. Brady's telling his owner, "I want to play 6 or 7 more years."
Kraft is saying Bill's going to coach till he's 80.
Bring that
When
on.
did Ben come in? 05 or
04.
Yeah, 4
We
years
were
after
15
Brady.
to 1, and we smoked them in the AFC title.
Yeah,
game.
But you can't say Ben's not one of the
Yeah.
best.
His
best
first
top
loss-
They
three.
had Tommy Maddox before that.
Ben's
Yeah.
top.
They were 1
And
and
he
1
was
then
the-
Roethlisberger came in.
Ben's definitely
they own
top 3 or
Pittsburgh.
4 quarterbacks the last 10 years.
He is, but they own Pittsburgh. They
Positively.
own
And
Pittsburgh.
imagine if Brady was sitting there going, I don't know.
Yeah, right?
That's what makes him great,
This
though.
guy's got a
Like-
love for the craft that no one else has ever had.
Who-
He just wants
honestly-
to.
Right.
Who's
Listen,
going to beat them next year? I mean, they could lose because it's football, it's a one and done, but who's, like, who?
they've had the best offseason. They're the best team in football who has had the best offseason in a way that, guys, blows
Very
me away.
un-Belichick-like, though.
Yeah, but that's what he does, though.
It's the
That's
op-
exactly Belichick.
I-
That's
I'm
exactly
the opposite of
Belichick.
what you think
No,
he
but
is.
that's
The
why it's him, though. It's
opposite,
because he
right.
does what you don't expect. That's why it's him.
I'm trying to come up with a catchphrase for it. Is it the op season? Because everything has been opposite. It's like when Costanza just said, goes up to a girl in the diner and goes, "Hello, my name's George. I'm unemployed. I live with my parents." Hello.
He kicks the chair out.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, he's
But
working for
that's
the Yankees.
Belichick, though. He
Right.
does what you don't expect. And that's why he's great.
I sit there every year and I go, when free agency begins, it's the worst time of the year to be a Patriots fan
Yep.
because it's like being
But why
the
don't
kid
people understand
whose
that, though?
parents give you socks for Christmas when the other kids are opening up video game systems. Well, this year they flipped the script. I mean, within hours, you got Stephon Gilmore, who was every list I
He doesn't-
saw 1A, 1B best cornerback
Yeah,
with
but he doesn't
AJ
play.
Bouye.
Yeah.
He doesn't play 16 games. He hasn't played 16 games since
Yeah, but
2012.
He was the most.
I know.
Remember that Burt Beer
He
tweet
played
right
like
afterwards?
12,
Though it was like, is
Doesn't matter, I don't
Belichick
want
on
someone injured.
vacation or something? Because it just didn't seem like.
But that's Belichick. He
It
does
was
what you don't
Eric
expect.
Belichick.
All right,
doing
the
this
trade in
stuff.
the first round pick, and I was on record
still
saying
think they're
there's
gonna trade
no way
Garoppolo.
they're giving up the 32nd for Brandon Cooks. And Brandon Cooks is good, no question he's
But he
good.
only has 1
but
year
they
left.
don't value
Two.
wide
Yeah,
receivers
Yeah, but he had to
enough.
pick up $9 million option next year, right?
But they don't value wide receivers enough to use a first round pick to get
Never
one.
have.
And I was wrong, dead wrong. And by the way, this kid's got 2 1,100-yard seasons under his belt. He's 23.
How many balls did
Isn't that
they go?
insane?
How many balls did they go around? We didn't have Gronk last year. Won the Super Bowl. We still have Gronk, Edelman, Amendola. I think either Amendola or Hogan's gone. It's probably me, Amendola. One of those guys is gonna.
Sure, but all right, fun,
I bet
That's fine.
it's because of the
I
third
don't care. I'm
All right,
not
I'd
saying I
sacrifice
care.
one of them for Brandon Cooks.
I don't know.
fun
This
fact
is the-
about Cooks.
Amendola's a big game player. He's had some big Super
Since
Bowls.
Cooks has been in the league, he's got 7 touchdowns of 40 yards or
But
more.
can he do the system, though?
Excuse me, the Patriots as a team have 7. Have
That's
9,
insane.
excuse me. He's got 7, the team has 9.
But can he
That's
adjust
insane.
to the system? They have a very complicated system.
He'll
If
make
Brady
it
doesn't
work.
trust you,
He'll make it
he doesn't
work.
give you the ball.
Brady hasn't
Yeah.
had
We'll
Brady
see.
hasn't had a weapon like this.
It doesn't matter.
More.
Dude, there's a lot of guys they brought in, a lot of veteran receivers that can't handle the adjustments that they make. Chad Johnson couldn't run the
might
routes.
happen.
A lot of
This
guys,
kid's,
Reggie
this
Wayne.
kid's young enough where he's gonna be
gotta
fine.
be smart.
That's why I
All those guys came
discounted
at the
the
end of their
rumor.
careers.
Right. That's why I discounted the rumor that they're going to give up the 32nd to get him. But that's not taken away from what this kid's talent is. His ability to get open deep.
We gotta get younger receivers.
There are metrics about balls that travel more than 20 yards. He had led the most in the league last year at catches on those throws. He had 11 of them, and he had 0 drops.
Over 50% of his receptions were over 20 yards.
Yeah,
It was like 54% of his receptions were over 20
What
yards.
happens if they win the Super Bowl next year? That's 3 out of 4 within like a 15-year
Brady should just
span.
retire if that.
No, he should keep
Why?
winning. No,
He's not going to.
Because
If
if
he's
he
not-
went to the
No,
sunset,
He's not going to.
no,
He likes the
because-
winning too
we
much.
got Montana on the
No, when
team.
you're a
Because
boxer, you go out and lose. Like boxers always go out losing. Like I want Brady to play till he can't play no more. I don't want them to trade him. I don't give a shit. I want him to play till he's.
And I think Brady's a guy who looks to do things no one's ever done before. That's why he's got this play till he's 45
He's
number
insane.
in his
He's
head.
insane.
And also, no one's ever won 3 in a row. So there's another.
My brother always says that they should have beat Denver last year. Like that Denver lost. My brother.
That was a tough one. We suck at
But even though they sucked that day,
Yes,
they
and
still had a
the
chance to win.
offensive line was, if you had put out traffic cones, maybe Von Miller would have tripped over one, or
But he
DeMarcus
got
Ware
beat
would
up
have
in the-
had to go
he got
around.
beat up in the Super
And
Bowl this
still,
year.
and how did they lose? On the road, in one of the toughest places to play, they lost by an extra point.
Brady threw that pick in the red zone. man.
True, but it was an
He's
extra
been throwing.
point.
He throws a lot of picks in playoff games now. He really does.
There's not another quarterback in the league who would have led them to the red
No.
zone 3
Even-
times
Even against Atlanta,
late in the
he
game.
got hit what 20 times against Atlanta. He got
Yep.
his ass beat.
Positively, and he wore them the F down. And I credit Atlanta.
And he's tougher than people give him credit for because he takes a beating and he keeps
In
coming
real
back.
time, I
Oh,
was.
Brady?
Yeah.
Brady's that pocket guy. He doesn't leave the pocket. I feel like
But
the
he's
reason
nimble.
Yeah, but
he's nimble in the pocket.
when you leave the pocket, when you're gonna get hit, you got a guy running at you full speed. When he's there, you're gonna guy stop. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When you're gonna get hit, that defensive guy that's
Well,
gonna
it's
hit
like
you
Garoppolo
is
got
getting
hit and got
stopped.
hurt.
He's not gonna hit you at full speed. He's always been like that. I think that's why his career's been prolonged forever.
Right.
I used to
In
make
a
fun
way
of-
that your boy Bledsoe just
No,
never,
Bledsoe was a
and it had nothing to do with
he had-
running.
he had big balls.
He didn't have a sense of the
No, he
pocket
didn't.
though. And
No,
you guys
he
aren't
didn't.
old enough to remember Steve Grogan, who was a folk hero here because
I
he
met
was
Steve Grogan actually.
so like.
In Sears in the Emerald Square Mall, my father was like, "That's Steve Grogan." I had no clue who he was.
No, Steve Grogan was tougher than a week-old bagel. Like he was like he would take hits, and everyone would celebrate. My God, he played with a neck roll. He played quarterback in the NFL with a James Devlin-like neck roll,
No way.
and everyone's, "Oh my God, look at how tough he is!" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, he's super tough, but." He took that hit and he got back up, but it's 3rd and 35
Yeah.
because he took that hit. You know, just was a guy who got the crap beat out
My
of.
father used to
Bledsoe was
say,
a guy-
Bledsoe, he's like, eventually he's going to get hurt, and that day it happened. He's like, eventually he's going to get hurt.
Yep, and super tough, but he didn't have that sense of the pocket.
The game,
It's not about foot speed.
if Bledsoe played
it's
in the
about
80s, it would have
knowing
been
that.
different. The game had passed him by at that point.
He played and he almost. They said he almost died. If it,
Oh, he didn't wanna
right?
go to the
Oh
hospital.
yeah,
He didn't want to go to the
Oh, you're
hospital.
talking about the Mo Lewis hit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
internal
he
bleeding.
didn't want to go to the
split,
hospital.
it split his artery.
Yeah, he got a
his
shared
aorta
blood vessel.
laterally. And the story, and I think it got edited out of the book for length, but there was a thing in the Globe about a thoracic surgeon, so, you know, heart
He was
surgeon
pretty much dead.
from Mass General was on call that day.
You know that was in the book.
It was
That
okay.
was in the book.
And he's sitting there at home, and he turns to his wife, and he goes, my beeper's gonna go off. Again,
was
it's
definitely-
2001. And he goes, his beeper goes off, and he goes in, and he did surgery on Bledsoe, who almost died. He almost bled
He
out.
did. They said if he drove home himself that night, they made him go to the hospital. He would have
That was
died.
100%.
He played
That was
three
at
more
least in the audio.
Yeah, he
book.
did.
I don't know about
Yeah,
the-
no, it was, absolutely.
The thing I remember most about Bledsoe, I think it was '98 when he broke his finger, and he led the charge against the Bills, and then the next week against the Dolphins with
With
his
his-
finger,
brought that
and
up
then,
in the-
and then
that's
Zolak played
That's
against
in
the
the book
Jaguars.
also.
Yeah, with a pin sticking out that he
And that's
he
why I
couldn't-
love Drew, because he was tough as
Yeah, the
hell.
pin
Sure.
was sticking out of the finger.
But
it was
and so
different.
it's not his toughness; it's his lack of pocket presence.
Yes.
He couldn't sense in a way that Brady has that weird
It wasn't
sixth
Bel- it
sense
didn't
that
fit
he's
Belichick's
got that
system.
spidey sense
Yeah.
that he knows that a pressure is
Drew
coming
was a
to
gunslinger.
slide over or get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
And or turtle. Like sometimes Brady will just take a sack and be, oh,
I
I
used to
take a
get
sack.
pissed at Manning.
Because it's a smart thing to do.
He doesn't need to be that
Belichick
tough.
will tell his quarterbacks, you're never going to walk off the
Turnover's
field
the worst
saying,
thing you can do.
Yeah, you're never going to walk off the field saying, I lost the game because we had to punt. You're going to say, I lost the game because I threw a pick.
Right.
And we gave up possession of the ball.
100%.
And Brady from the beginning had that sense of pocket
He did.
awareness that Bledsoe.
He led that team.
And it took me, Bledsoe was gone for 2 years before I really was
Me
able
too.
to look at
Me
him
too.
from kind of distant eyes and go.
But I was 9 years
He's
old when he
still
was
making-
drafted, so
yeah.
that was like my boyhood quarterback thing, and it took me a while to get over it.
You realize he's making the same mistakes he made as a rookie.
Yeah,
Bad throws.
I said until Brady wins the second one, I won't like him, and he won the second one, and that was it. What can I say?
Did you and Michael talk about each other's books while you were writing them? Because they both came out kind of around the same time.
Just when I asked him to write the forward, and he was, and I'm flattered to say he was honored to. And
I like
he's
Holly.
wrote-
he
written
was
some
working
great
on
books.
his
I
book,
like
but
Holly. I
I
always-
didn't really talk at length about it until he was writing the forward, and then we did a couple of appearances together at book signings, which is really kind of cool because they just
Your
fit-
book ends
they just
where
fit-
his starts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
It just
unbelievable.
fit
Like I've
together
read
so
both.
well.
I read Michael's and I listened to yours on the audiobook, and it's unbelievable. Read where yours ends, his starts, and it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. The one, probably the biggest difference is, and my agent said this, what I need is more autobiography in it. Like, you're a Patriots fan watching this stuff. I want to know where you were and how.
Well, the
what you were
beginning
doing.
of it, you
Whereas
talk about
Michael's
your childhood, as
Yeah.
when you were trying out for the football team, and your coach thought you were the hardest worker or whatever. And if
Right.
everyone on the team had your mentality, then they would be a winning team.
Hey,
right?
you got a better
Not
perspective.
enough to ever put me on the field, thank God. But yeah, and growing up as a Pats fan, when like
They suck.
right, the thing every year was
The Rudy story.
Right. The thing is, every year you would get the Holy Bible of being a kid. Then was the Sears catalog. You know, and you would go through it like, oh, here's the what I want for Christmas, and there was about 20 pages of just NFL gear that you could get. You could get like outfit your entire bedroom, bedspreads and pillowcases and pennants and posters and crap. And in the bottom, it would just say in small agate text, not available in the following teams. Not available in the following teams.
Oh, no, she bought
Patriots,
it, yeah.
you know, Buccaneers, whatever. Like the Patriots were the team that they didn't even bother to make their gear because they
Patsies.
knew all anybody wanted was Cowboys, Steelers, Giants, Redskins.
I can't believe that.
Oh yeah, it's how it was. Games were blacked
Even
out
in the
on
local
TV.
area, you couldn't
because
get
they would sell
even
19,000.
in the local area, you couldn't buy
You gotta go
Patriots
to
gear.
you gotta go to Springfield to watch the game or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember watching the Pats play, like on the early projection screen TV. My brothers took me to a place, those kind of places where you could like throw peanut shells on the floor to watch the
yeah.
Patriots
Closed
play
circuit
the
TV.
because you couldn't watch home games.
Well, that's
on
when Bledsoe and
TV.
Parcells changed, and then Kraft bought the team a year later. That changed everything.
Yeah, exactly. The day that Kraft bought the team, they sold
Well, that was
the
the year
most
after-
season
that was-
tickets ever.
My cousin got season tickets the year they drafted Bledsoe.
Okay.
And he got rid of them the year they won the Super Bowl. Freaking moron. But whatever, they used to sit right in the front row of the end zone at Foxborough Stadium. They had a sign that said Drew's Crew. I went to a few games with them.
see.
And it was fun as hell.
I remember going to basketball camp at Bryant College.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you brought that up in your book also.
Yeah.
And I remember Bledsoe walking by and throwing a sweatband over, and I caught it.
I got one of Drew Bledsoe's
And that was the biggest. I mean, he was
Yeah.
the biggest star. He was one of the best. He was,
I was
one of
there-
the most popular
Yeah.
quarterbacks in the league at that
Oh,
point.
we
And that's
loved
when
him.
everything was turning
No,
around.
he was the MVP.
Everybody owned a Bledsoe
Dude,
jersey.
he was an MVP candidate his first few years, and then, like I said, the game
He was on
passed him by.
Sports Illustrated with as his arm
When
with a cannon.
when
Remember
he
that?
retired from football, he was like the 7th highest passing yards of all time. Like he was a gunslinger.
Yeah.
But the game just passed him by. As much as I love him, Brady's better. I gotta tip my hat. But when Brady came in over him, I didn't like it because I was 9
Bledsoe?
years old when Bledsoe was drafted, and that was my guy, and it sucked. It admit defeat, but after 5 Super Bowl, you know what the hell?
Right. You know how, fair or unfair, we judge football players in general and quarterbacks in particular
rings.
on moments,
Yeah,
on
Parcells
great
said
moments. And Bledsoe had many opportunities to have that
He still
moment.
had
There
his
was the one,
moments.
Great one.
97, I want to say
Dude,
it was.
he threw
The
75 passes
Okay.
against the Vikings.
Okay, but playoff game against the against Pittsburgh.
They lost 7-6.
Yes. And Bledsoe had the ball. A field goal would have won them a playoff game, and I'm pulling for him because I go, this is going to shut people up because you're going to
That
say,
was the first
this
year
is
without
him.
Parcells.
He drives down and he gets that ball and he gets strip sacked and he got fumble recovered by Mike Vrabel.
Oh yes.
And so, okay, so you scored
Yeah,
6
but-
points in a playoff game, but
Okay.
I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying that's how we judge
But
football.
when Brady got strip sacked, tuck rule. It was the right call. I agree.
Absolutely right.
But luck had something to do with it.
Just saying that Brady, if you say,
I know, I'm just
if
saying.
you, if you go by the standard that I'm saying that we judge these guys by great
Well,
moments,
jewelry.
Brady has a million of
The
them.
last two-
Bledsoe never got
he
that
never had
moment.
that
He had his moments in the regular
we,
season.
we
but
live in a
That's not a
highlight.
great moment.
Right, we live
No,
in a
what's weird is
highlight
they're both,
world
they're,
reel.
they're both from the
highlight
West
reel.
Coast.
Right, you're right,
They're both
you're right.
from the West Coast, which is
100%
weird.
right.
But Bledsoe is that, upper Midwest, laissez-faire, just chuck it and, duck it.
The point about the highlight reels is that
Brady's freaking the greatest of all
Lynn
time.
Swan is
Tough to
in the is in the Hall of Fame.
'Cause of two
Not
catches.
because right, exactly. Not because he was a
Joe
great
Namath
wide
should be in the Hall of
receiver.
Fame.
He is.
But he shouldn't be.
You're right, exactly. He's
His-
the worst guy. I think every Hall of Fame should have that guy that you say, here's the placeholder. This is the worst guy in
Joe
this Hall
Namath
of Fame.
sucked.
Joe Namath's
But
the guy.
he said, I'm going to
Just,
win.
he's in the Hall of Fame because of one game.
Yes, exactly.
But that's
he,
the first-
he threw more career interceptions than
Than he did
touchdowns.
Brett Favre.
He's not good.
No, he threw more than he did touchdowns.
I know.
He's like 210 to 200.
But it was a different game back then, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer. He was in there for one game, and I agree. That's what I hate about
Right.
now. It's all about numbers. Numbers
I-
are bullshit.
I
It should be
think
about moments. Hall of Fame should be about moments. Like Kurt Schilling should be in the Hall of Fame because he freaking threw a goddamn, one hit
Yes.
shutout because he had a freaking bloody sock. That's a Hall of Fame moment.
And he had a really good regular season career
Yeah.
too. Both of those things.
And he had a
David
really good- he
Ortiz.
won a World Series in
You
Arizona.
can't talk about
Yeah.
baseball of the last 12 years, 13 years, without talking about David Ortiz.
No, you can't.
He belongs in the Hall of Fame for that.
Just in the
and
playoffs.
he put up good
Do you
numbers.
think he's gonna make it?
No.
I'm skeptical. I think he
Because of the
absolutely
question
belongs.
mark?
He actually
I
might.
think because he was probably more because of the fact
Era.
he was a DH, which is idiotic.
Which is
Well, I
bullshit.
understand that, but he's the best DH ever.
Right, exactly.
So I think he
but
should make it.
Edgar Martinez is not in it, but you can't.
That's fine. He's the best.
Right.
He's better than Edgar Martinez.
I have said this, and I took massive amounts of crap every time I've said this on there, and I stand by it. Ortiz has the best Red Sox career of anybody ever. And Ted Williams, he lost time to the war. I'm saying take their careers as they were. Ortiz's is better because he had 800 in a World Series. He won 3 rings. He's the only guy that you can say, if he didn't play for the Red Sox, they're coming up on 100 years without a World Series. The only guy. Because Kurt Schilling had nothing to do with 2013. Dustin Pedroia had nothing to do with 2004. The only guy who was the common denominator in all of them was that one guy. He belongs in the Hall of Fame for that alone. And I stand by that idea. You got to pick, like, every Hall of Fame should just declare he's our worst guy. And if he's not in there, if you're not better than him, you don't belong.
But
in
it's about
there.
moments too, though. It should be about, now it's too much about numbers. It should be about moments too.
Jack Morris belongs in.
Yeah.
He pitched a 10
inning
inning
shutout.
shutout in Game 7 of and won other World Series. It wasn't just
But
that.
that's why I hate baseball, is because all these nerds now, they're all about the numbers and shit. Numbers are bullshit.
Oh my God, Bert Blyleven is in because the back of his baseball card. You know, and if you never in anybody's life.
What do you remember Reggie Jackson for? 3 home runs in a game.
Please. You never once looked at a weekend series and said, "Oh my God, we got the Twins Saturday." Bert Blyleven's going, "Holy shit!" No, it never mattered, but he had a lot of cumulative stats.
And that's
so
what I hate
he's
about
in.
baseball, though.
Yes,
It's like Jeff Bagwell, as good as he was, I don't care what you say, what did he ever do?
Hey, wait.
Exactly. You know what?
Craig Biggio, he had 3,000 hits, yeah, he played 25 years.
Yeah, they didn't have that
Right.
moment.
And Derek Jeter's numbers are
He's a winner.
extremely like Craig
Average,
Biggio's.
yes, but he's-
Except he was a
had those
poor
moments.
defensive shortstop,
But he was-
and he won a ton of rings, and he was captain intangibles. Therefore,
That's how it
he's
used to
gotta
be though back in the day though. Like guys like Reggie Jackson were getting off 3 home runs. Guys like Namath would get in off of that stuff.
Right.
That's why Ortiz should be in. The goddamn guy freaking batted them into the World Series in 04. Literally. Like first of all,
right. The grand slam he
And
had
the
against the
15.
Tigers might not be in his top 5 greatest moments of all time. That's how good.
That's unbelievable.
That's how great his moment.
That was
He
one
had,
might have
he had
3.
2 playoff walk-off
3
hits
moments in one playoff.
24 hours.
Yeah, within
In
the
the
same
same calendar day.
Same day.
If you go over his top 5 moments, though, 3 of them might be in one playoff year.
Yep.
In 04.
Dude, then he batted, like you said, he batted what, 700 against the Cardinals? Why would you pitch that guy?
Yeah, positively, and the walks, the walk-offs, whatever. So, yeah, there's no way that he shouldn't be in. But I'm just afraid that they're going to sit there because it's about because baseball is so much about the black ink on the back of your and the stupid steroid thing. Oh my God, do I hate that argument? I don't care. Guys were using, everybody used the pitches that they hit against used the
You know that argument's not going to go away, though. You can't not talk about that.
I know, and it's only because baseball takes itself so goddamn serious. Like these guys see themselves
Steroids
as like.
are serious.
Remember, the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the Knights Templar, who were like defending the Holy Grail. That's how baseball writers see themselves. Look, guys used, get over it. Pitchers used, relievers used, batters used. Okay, I like to think that they've gotten it out of.
era in the history of the
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
That's fine, though. That's fine.
Save the
Make-
game.
that's fine. Make a separate-
Football players use all the time, and guys
Send
get
it
over
off.
it. They just kind of go, you know
Rodney
what?
Harrison.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
still a
Yeah.
favorite around here.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, make
yeah.
a separate spot for them in the Hall of Fame then, because the rest of it's not fair to everyone else who made the Hall of Fame over the last 100 years.
Should've
Make
got
a separate
steroids.
spot in the Hall of Fame for the
Right.
steroid era.
Hank Aaron was like 5'10" and about 175 pounds, and he retired with the most RBIs in history, the most home runs in history, and weirdly, and this is a kind of a cool fact, he was also #1 all-time alphabetically. Thanks for ruining it, David Arbsma. Asshole. But yeah, so I get it. Like if I'm one of those guys, Jim Rice is in the Hall of Fame only because of the steroid era. He fell short
Right.
of being able to make it by a couple
His
of
last
years.
year, he made it, right? The last year eligibility.
Because they said, you know what, the things he did, his career might have fallen short of eligibility, but he did it clean.
Do you think he deserved to be in it? He's not going in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame, that's for sure.
When I saw him play,
Or TV
I thought
Personality Hall of Fame.
in '86 he was like 3rd in the league in MVP. It was Clemens and then Mattingly and then him, and I thought, okay, couple more years like that, and he's in, and he just dropped off, and it was through no fault of his own. I think he just lost his eye, hand-eye coordination, whatever. He was in amazing shape. I think he's only in as a reaction to the steroid era. And I'm like this. I hated Roger Clemens with the white-hot intensity of 1,000 pizza ovens for the way he left Boston, the way he started using after he left here, went to Toronto, the way he played that game every year where he always ended up for the max contract, but always said, oh, it's not about that, it's because I want to play for closer to home, I want to play for Joe Torre, Andy Pettit's my friend. No, you chased money, that's fine, just admit it. And yet now I've come around on that, and I go, he belongs in because he never got caught. If he did get caught,
he was the greatest pitcher for 15 years.
He absolutely used. Do you know it? I know it. Let's have a grown-up discussion. But I hate this idea that I believe he used, he didn't get caught. Like, have an objective standard. Either everybody gets in, or you say, if someone tested positive, they're going to go off my list. This idea of you doing an eyeball test,
well, it's not in the way now that Bagwell's in. If now that Bagwell's in, it might open the doors. Now since Bagwell got in, I think Ortiz is going to get in.
Try to tell me how Cal Ripken was able to play all the innings that he played at shortstop, but never used. But he's not suspected. But other guys are.
Griffey's not. I mean, I'm not saying any of them did.
No.
But it's still, if you're going to suspect Ortiz and everyone else.
Exactly. I want, if you're going to keep certain people out, I need a better objective standard than the eyeball test.
Right.
I mean, there's no question in my mind that Barry Bonds juiced, but I need more than my own suspicion. Like, give me something that's black and white, and I would put everybody in because it was part of.
Balco was failed test enough.
Yeah, I don't think he even tested for that. I think he admitted. He says, I used, but I didn't realize I
know what it was.
Yeah.
You still have to see the pitch and swing the bat.
The thing is, they all did it, so who cares?
You had a steroid guy
We all
pitching
know
against
that
a
from
steroid
like
bat.
90 to like 2005, there was
That's
steroid
what I'm
guys.
saying. Make a steroid era part of the Hall of Fame. You had a guy pitching on steroids against a guy batting on steroids.
I question Pedro because I think he's a bullshit too. I think he took some hits.
I just think I just wanted to stop being so subjective because baseball writers take themselves too goddamn seriously.
Pedro didn't use steroids.
Put yourself the hell.
Manny never used steroids in Boston. Poppy never used
All
steroids.
right, take the Manny thing. Manny had a Hall of Fame.
No, he did not.
Manny had a Hall of Fame worthy career, but if a writer wants to say he tested positive, therefore he's off my list, okay, at least that's a provable, factual thing.
Yes.
That's not a.
But Ortiz didn't test positive.
His name appeared on a list that nobody can explain what from 2003 before roids.
But he's also involved with Anhol Prestonol, who was a big steroid guy.
And it wasn't
Tom
just
Brady
steroids, though. It was all kinds of other.
Yeah, Tom Brady's cell phone was on, but
Tom Brady was on
Brady
those
didn't use
lists.
steroids.
he doesn't eat tomatoes, man.
He was
like
in the cell phone history of the guy.
That's blasphemy. I don't care what he does. He can do it. As
And the
long as
thing
he
is,
wins Super Bowls, he can take whatever he wants.
When
I don't
football
care.
players do it, we all just go. It's
amazing, isn't it?
It's only
Isn't it
baseball
amazing?
because
It's amazing.
they're on a holy crap.
Rodney Harrison
Yeah,
delivered.
well,
Rob Ninkovich, it wasn't even mentioned.
Peyton Manning.
Half the
You talk
season.
about someone who's. If Tom Brady had his wife had HGH delivered to their house and his
Biggest
wife's
story in the
name,
world.
he'd be suspended for a
Oh
year.
my God. And sent his hired goons to
Yes.
to
It's like The Simpsons. Knock, knock. Who is it? Hired goons.
right to his house to intimidate them into dropping it in America. God, I couldn't believe we're going down to the Flake
Swept
Gate.
under the rug.
No, we have to go. That's gotta be
We're
the
going down
way.
the Flakegate rabbit hole, but the fact that America immediately said, "Well, Manning says he's innocent, so therefore I
That's what
believe
they
him."
said. He's good. I believe him.
Right.
Freaking what's his face? Who's the old GM from freaking? Napoleon. Yeah, the Patriots.
Oh, he said there's nothing to it.
And I believe him.
And
Michael
the
Cole?
league said the exact same
You ever
thing.
read the comments on Pro Football Talk?
Oh, sure.
They go ape shit over the Patriots.
You know what though? That's what makes
Every
them coming back
story.
from 28-3 so much better. Is because the whole country was dancing on our grave, and here we come.
Yeah,
that's the
ex-
best
exactly.
freaking part. Because if I lived in any other part of the country, I'd freaking hate the
I
Patriots.
think Brady won over a lot of haters this time around.
Brady's a winner. He's Babe Ruth.
So,
Like you said, in 100 years, we're all gonna be saying, "Remember him?"
And with regards to Brady, like it's insane to me that America loves Peyton Manning and hates him. Although I think he might be starting to flip the script on that in that way, like Rocky did in Rocky 4.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of changes.
If I can change, you can change.
But the two guys
He
killed
ended
each
the
other
Cold War,
20
man.
million.
He ended the Cold War.
Because his was the #1 selling jersey in the country in all 50 states in the month of February. It's the first time it's ever happened.
Brady's?
Tom Brady.
This
So
year?
let's
America
name,
loves a winner.
Let's name some of those states: New York, Washington, Indiana,
I didn't know
like
that.
Colorado,
Texas.
the #1 selling. And I think maybe people are starting to say,
No,
you know
people
what?
know he
Maybe,
got screwed.
maybe the fact that we thought he was only good because he was spritzing air out of football.
He's been
and
better
he's
without
put
it.
together these insane
So
seasons
ridiculous.
with allegedly conforming footballs. And the thing that makes me nuts is Brady is the kind of guy that the America I grew up in, we idolized that
Yes.
guy. He came from
He's Joe
nothing.
DiMaggio.
He had to fight
He's
for
even more
playing
perfect.
time at Michigan.
Right.
For a while,
He's
he
always
was
a
he was
grand
behind. Who was their old coach who looked like Gargamel from the Smurfs?
In Michigan?
Yeah.
Lloyd Carr?
Lloyd
the-
Carr, yes.
the guy that had
he
the
was
second
behind
string?
Lloyd Carr's kid on the depth chart and kept getting benched.
He was
whatever.
the fourth quarterback of the Patriots his first year. Fourth quarterback.
Fourth
Why did
quarterback.
they keep
They
Bill knew.
never keep
Bill
right.
knew.
They
Bill knew.
never,
But Bill
right.
knew.
And he has said that was a wasted roster spot that we wasted for that year because we thought it could help
Who
him
they had?
later.
They had like John
And,
Freeze and like somebody else. Probably-
Michael Bishop.
Michael Bishop is
Yeah, he was great.
And I put this in the book, I went down to training camp in 2001 and counted at least 24 Michael Bishop jerseys.
Yes, yeah, that's in the book.
People-
Oh, they loved him. He was
Yeah.
anti-Bledsoe guy. If
That
he
was-
hates Bledsoe,
yeah,
he
you
loved
wanted
Bishop.
him.
And that was the last year at Bryant.
Yeah, they
Moron.
let him go in 2002. In 2001, they let him go.
Oh,
And
Bishop?
Michael Bishop, and he was being cut in Canada in a couple of months. He was
Oh,
cut
yeah.
from a team in Canada, but people thought he should be the starting quarterback. Now compare Brady's story to Peyton Manning's, who, from the manor born, his dad was a
Put his
celebrity.
balls in some chick's face.
He never once, he has never walked onto a football field at any age, at any level, without being the starting quarterback.
That's
From
why
when he was
Brady's a
8
winner.
years old to high school to Tennessee, he was a 5-year starter,
Yep.
drafted
Number one
number 1. And America loves him. Why? Oh, he's so good in those commercials.
It's because
because Nationwide like writes good commercials. Like that's
No,
why you
Jerry,
love
it's
him.
because people said we should love him. That's what it's about in this
Bingo.
country.
Oh,
That's
he's
the bullshit
so
of- We should hate Donald
self-effacing.
Trump, so everyone hates
Oh,
Donald
oh.
Trump. We should love Peyton Manning.
LeBron had the same thing before he started winning championships. It's
Well, LeBron's a douche.
I'm just saying.
I
it's
like
the same-
LeBron now
it's
than
the
more
same
than
thing.
ever
It's the
liked.
same-
I don't know why, but you're right.
Same
Peyton Manning,
bullshit.
he can put his balls in some freaking chick's face and no one says a word because he's protected. It's like being
There
a
you go.
Kennedy.
The HGH.
Yeah.
The Kennedy thing is a great example.
You read how he got
I'm going to.
I just got the book in the mail this week. Kennedy.
If you
Babylon.
haven't listened to it, there's no reason I should be sitting there plugging Manahan's podcast, but he had Howie
Yeah,
on.
that's
I-
my
I-
brother
I-
told
I-
me.
I
Yeah.
listened to it.
Yeah,
I did.
and I those stories are all true.
That's
they're all
all said
factual,
true.
But
Yeah,
there
don't-
are guys who just
plug that
magically
dickhead's
go through
podcast.
life as protected classes, and
His father
Manning
was the biggest
is that.
womanizer, bootlegging, whatever he did
Right.
to get rich. And you know what? Do what you gotta do, fine. But when you freaking vault your son into the White House, and then they all, my uncle said the only one who didn't get killed was Ted because it wasn't worth the assassin's bullet. The guy's driving chicks into like the Chappaqua, whatever, up in Martha's
Chappaquiddick.
Vineyard. Yeah, Chappaquiddick, and then he swims to safety, and no one says shit. And then when he elect him to
He
6
didn't
more
call anyone
terms,
for 11 hours.
When he let the hooker drown.
supposedly she was pregnant with his kid.
Oh my God! I
But
know,
then we
it's
elected him to
insane.
6
Hey,
more
we can
terms.
talk about
Right,
that.
and we idolize them. Believe me, I grew up in a Irish
Everyone
Catholic
did.
household in Wheeling,
Oh.
Massachusetts. Like the Kennedys were saintly. They care about the poor people. Yeah, not enough to be them.
Yeah.
Everyone goes nuts about Trump not releasing his tax returns. You know who never released a tax return? A Kennedy. Not a single one.
Right.
Not
Here's the thing
one.
about Trump. He's a 7-year-old billionaire. Why run for president? You're not a politician. Why would you want to give up your life? Why? Because he wants to help people.
Yeah, working people because he understands the economy, understands business. He got fed up.
know what?
Kennedy's ran because none of them ever wanted to get an actual job.
Yeah.
None of them ever
I heard
did.
we heard you go off the other day.
Yeah, now
about
they're
that,
all dead.
About the Drexel.
Oh yeah, the Drexel guy didn't
oh,
give up his
thank
seat.
you.
teacher.
Oh my
Thank
god.
you, thank you
Oh
for
my
that.
god.
I heard you
Good
go
for
off on that. I mean, that's complete. We know your son is a.
That's the problem with higher
His son's an
education.
American hero. He's a Marine. We have friends that are Marines. We have friends that are Army vets. We always support. We always talk about.
I actually tweeted you
our
on
military
that. I tweeted
buddies.
you back.
And
We
so,
love that.
so we're clear, guys. It's not because I'm not claiming like skin in the game, like somehow I
It's just
have
what he said
a
was
better
wrong.
opinion than anybody else because my son made a life decision. This was his calling. It's what he wants to do. This Drexel professor who tells the story about being on a plane and somebody gave up their first class seat
Why did
to
you can't?
a uniformed soldier, and this guy says it made me want to vomit. And
I had to hold
okay,
myself from puking.
tell me what. All right, first of all, this
He wanted to
Drexel
get his name
professor.
out there, that's why.
You're a professor at a safety school. All right, first of all, let's just be
Yeah,
honest. And I went to Bridgewater.
It's not the first
State,
time he's been
and
in the
I'm
news either.
Oh yeah,
No, but those guys, they're
he's a
trolling. He's
self-avowed.
trolling. He's
He's a self-avowed. Once genocide against white people,
Well, yeah, exactly.
which he is a
That
white
was in
person.
the news a
right?
couple months ago.
He claims to be
He's white.
a communist. Yeah, claims to be a communist, but you know what? You're a communist, but you collect a paycheck. Like you write books where you collect paychecks from them. If you're a real communist, you would say, I don't own my book any more than the people who work in the factory because the means of production belong to the workers, you fraud. And then sits there and takes his profile picture on Twitter is him sitting at a Starbucks. Okay, that's a mega corporation, but it's like a hipster mega corporation,
Right.
you fraud.
They're
And
all
I'm sure you own an iPhone, which is owned by Apple. Anyway,
Right.
so I go
Built by
nuts over this.
Chinese slaves.
They're all
And
hypocrites.
what is his problem? His problem is somebody made a nice gesture for a soldier that has sacrificed themselves to make people on planes safer.
He's a
Like this guy's
brainwashed
not taking a
liberal-
box cutter across the throat
No, it
because
gets him-
maybe the soldier killed the guy that would have cut his
It gets
throat.
him pub. That's it.
It's a
It gets him pub.
brainwashed liberal.
It's in
you should've seen
you
these-
can only have that attitude in one line of work in the world, and
Academia.
that's academia, right?
And that's
because
why
it's
I went
all
to
idea.
UMass, man,
Drexel
during the
came out-
Bush years, and it sucked.
Drexel
I'm the
said-
only goddamn, right wing. I'm like one of 5 up there, but it sucked.
Drexel
People don't
came
get
out
it.
and said
Like,
that they weren't going to
We're at
punish
the
him
rally
because
last week, right? We're at the rally, and these people are chanting about immigration. I have no problem with immigration. Come here legally.
Bingo! Change the law.
Stand in
Change
line.
the law.
Stand in line, but do not jump my border so I don't know who you are and have like 7 kids before we even know you're here, and then we can't kick any of them out.
We want to know who you are. Is that
And it's not just Mexicans jumping the border.
No,
it's
anybody.
freaking Syrians and all these people on board.
Sure. A couple of years ago,
First
I had to.
round,
that's how they're getting Cuban baseball players here through Mexico.
That's
Sure.
detectives. That's
A
different.
bunch of years ago,
That's an
I
investment.
took the Boston to Bermuda cruise.
Helps the economy.
Right? And
Boston Bermuda cruise.
yeah, so in order to do that, where you're going to be tied up to a dock in a sovereign land like
Go into
Bermuda
another
for 2
country and
nights,
see what they do to you.
have to have a passport. They inspect your bags. It cost me $650 for a family of 4 to all get passports, and I didn't object because why? Bermuda is a nation that has the right to know who the F I am.
Exactly.
Well, the
And
only
I
country
said,
in the world lets
why-
anybody in.
Why, if I say this about the border of my country, I'm a racist?
'Cause
Like,
you're
I
white.
want to know who people. Like, if you say people should come across and we don't know who they are, then you say, well, then you shouldn't have airport screenings. We shouldn't. Why are we checking people's bags at the airport? Like, we let them walk across,
Right, exactly.
They're hypocrites.
come
They
across,
use- they use the old immigrants-
Fort Hancock, Texas, on their way up from
But immigrants came here
Zihuatanejo.
Immigrants came here 100 years ago, but if you came over in Ellis Island, you had smallpox, they detained you for 6 months.
They checked who you are.
Vito Corleone, he
Yes.
got freaking detained.
Yeah, exactly.
Nowadays, it's like, oh, let him in.
Vito Andolini.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They changed his name to Corleone because he was from Corleone.
Yeah, all right, sorry.
And
But you know what I'm saying?
Right. Believe me,
why
the
don't we have
Thorntons
right-
landed at the docks in Dorchester, and by the way, didn't move very far. They just got off the boat and stayed there.
I'm a grandson of Irish immigrants. I know how it is.
Ended up at
150 years to
Squires of Hanover.
took us 150 years to get this far because
Hey, but
we
you
just
got
were
this
just
far,
too
though,
lazy
didn't you?
because you
But you
gotta
got this far.
right, and that's all it is.
That's the
And-
American dream. And that's the thing. No one wants to live that anymore. They want to come in and get free crap. No, you want to come to this country, fine, but come here legally.
And if you think it's okay, if you say, well, we shouldn't
Go to
have,
Mexico, see what
we
happens.
shouldn't have these people like have to check in when they cross the border. Change the law. It's real simple. Change it. We're a nation of laws. Pass a bill
wouldn't get
where
passed.
it says anybody can come in whoever
wouldn't
they,
get passed.
whoever they
No,
are.
because
That's
you know
all.
why? The liberals will never do that because it would kill their rallying cry.
They want. That's exactly. That's the John
They wanna-
Tomasis of the world. They need that
Oh,
stuff to fight.
Dude, if I ever saw that guy Neiman the Bulls, I freaking hate him. He's such a pandering liberal.
I
Have you
like-
worked with John?
Yes, and I
He's probably a nice
Do you get
guy.
along?
but-
Do you get along with him?
Yeah, but I mean, when he says, like, for instance, that Boston is a racist
No,
city
that's a
and
bad
can't
rap.
back it up, and I called him out on the air for this thing that he said about how we're, if you say, how can we be racist because look at all these black people that we have loved and admired. He compared that to being a slave owner saying, well, I like this slave because he works hard.
Does he know the North?
That was outrageous. Look, you just told your audience, an entire region of people that we're Don Johnson and Django Unchained.
Does he know that the North?
Right? Or DiCaprio, we want to have Mandingo fights.
But the Northern Republicans freed the slaves. The Southern Democrats kept them in chains. It was the Northern Republicans who freed the fucking slaves.
There were people talking about this Super Bowl saying that Atlanta is the city I'm rooting for because Boston's racist.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Atlanta? My brother-in-law used to
It's the liberal media.
Was an executive at Coca-Cola. Lived in Hilton Head, and used to tell his daughter when they would commute back and forth from Hilton Head to Atlanta, you have to fill up your gas tank no less than 50 miles outside of Atlanta because I don't want you stopping for any reason. Drive through there, and I go, what's it like there? He goes, there are people that will look you right in the eye and tell you slavery's a good thing. We should never have gotten rid of it. Okay, but we're the racist city.
It's a liberal media. It's complete
We had
bullshit.
one bus riot in the '60s or whatever. And that's it.
And
Bill Russell couldn't buy a house in Reading. So
in a time,
racist city in the world.
and that was in a time when the people who sat in judgment of working people whose kids couldn't go to the school up the street, they had to be bused an hour across town, were all sending the kids to private schools, or they were living outside the city, they were living in Cambridge or whatever. And I didn't live through it. I was out in the suburbs.
Right.
But it was more class warfare than anything. And here's the thing, and you don't want to generalize, and we're gonna have to wrap this podcast up. But as a general, in general, Boston people we work our asses off. Our lives suck. All right.
Yeah, we live in goddamn New England.
Yeah, exactly. The winters are terrible. Our government is corrupt. The T has 30% of their workers calling sick because there's a snowstorm.
Take like 90 days
so
off
working people are fucking walking up the tracks to get to their jobs.
But we win Super Bowls, so it's all right.
But at the end, when you get out of a work day, you don't want to have somebody. And by the way, we have full employment because we work our asses off. You don't want someone, John Tomasi or Pete Abraham or whoever,
Don't let Trenny
or Alex Sherman, somebody who sits on their ass and talks about sports like I do, to tell you that you're a hate monger.
That's what they do, though, Jerry.
Exactly.
That's what the left does. Is if you talk to them, I will present facts. They'll say you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're this, you're that.
They can't give you any facts back. They
have no argument.
They're just gonna shoot you.
Because I love my country and I'm all for immigration. Come here legally. I want low taxes, I want a strong national defense, and then leave me the hell alone.
And I love this town, I love this region, I've lived here my whole life. Show me where the massive amounts of hate crimes are going on. You want to live in some bastion of liberalism like Chicago?
No.
Check the death statistics there, okay?
It's unbelievable.
Show me where
Go to Iran.
people in
Go to
Boston...
Iran and be gay or
look,
something,
does that... And they immediately go to... Are you saying racism doesn't exist in Boston? No!
It exists everywhere.
But to say that we are a racist city when there are states
We're as racist as any other city, if not less.
Let fields red to say that we're going to offend Jim Crow.
Most losses in any war ever.
Right. There are places that elected... Virginia elected Robert Byrd, a former Grand Wizard of Ku Klux Klan.
Hillary Clinton's mentor.
Yes, if we're racist, my point is, we are the most incompetent white supremacists in the world. We're going about it all wrong because we love liberals, we elect them, and we love guys who are. We love Pedro Martinez, love him. I love David Ortiz.
Heroes in this town.
Bingo. And
I like good people.
Rivers,
I hate.
Doc
I
Rivers.
want good people. I don't care white, yellow, black.
Doc Rivers, Kevin Garnett.
Oh my God, thank you. All of the above.
Boston gets the stigmatism.
And then all right, there was a statue to Red Auerbach who laid down on the barbed wire of racism.
First all starting Black Five was
and the first black head coach in North American sports.
First black hockey player.
Listen,
Yaki was a scumbag.
It was up to me. Yaki Way would be changed to Martin Luther King Boulevard. I don't
David
care
Ortiz
because
drive.
yes, exactly. Because why we love those racist old coots is beyond me. I never cared for them.
They didn't know any better back then.
Bruins had the first black hockey player.
To go back to, absolutely, Willie
Celtics
O'Ree,
had the
right?
first All Black starting five because Red Auerbach wanted to win freaking games.
To go back to
That's
something
it.
that we mentioned earlier, like, who should, what's the standard for a Hall of Fame? To me, the lowest person in the NBA Hall of Fame is Tom Yotta. Get him out of there tomorrow.
Hey, well, Jerry, I want to thank you for your time. We got to wrap this up quick. We know you're going to go.
We get a picture with you before we go?
I insist on it.
All right.
All right, thank you guys for listening. It's the Amen Podcast. Check out with us next week. Thank you guys for tuning in.